last.
The king's back and the throne's mine. The future's here and it's my time. Straight shot, going for the head with it. Take his head off and say that I did it. Good riddance. Say hi to the bad guy, I'm back in business. If you took what's mine, I'm back to get it. There's nothing you can do, I'm back with vengeance. Now turn me loose. Now turn me loose.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Angels representing for the Gray Pill Podcast. I appreciate everybody for coming on through. I'm going to go ahead and get the introductions out the way. I don't want to waste your time because we have a lot of special guests here for the conversation. So let's get this out the way.
For those that's listening out there in the YouTube universe, shout out to Great Pill Podcast. Go holler at him. Hell yeah. Give him a like and subscribe. Go view his channel, if you will. Courtesy of Classic Lights.
For all your Spanish watchers and viewers, Telemundo, Univision, Galavisión. Hola, buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches, damas y caballeros. Por favor, suscriben, gusten y por favor compartir este canal de YouTube. Cualquier parte del mundo donde están ahorita, por favor. Familia, amigos o socios de trabajo, lo que sea, por todo el mundo, por favor, suscriben al canal del TheGreyPillPodcast Podcast, el Pastilla Gris, por favor. Muchas gracias.
All right, appreciate that. Appreciate getting Marcus, best moderator, and his guest. He also going to be helping us out with the translation when our guests come here. So appreciate that. Shout out to Cellulite. He says, "You know what I'm on." No, I don't know what you're on, sir. We got to be here for the conversation, okay? So apparently the topic is about fat versus skinny. Are we going to have is overweight people? If that's the issue, is a choice, we're going to have that conversation. What is the middle ground of that? So I'm guessing he like the big girls, which is fine. But just understand, sometimes there might be some health complications. So we're going to discuss that too. Also might be some health complications with skinny people too. So we're going to have that conversation. Shout out to Don Teasy. Hey, I like you, Don Teasy. You got so much respect for me. I have so much respect for you, good sir. I was watching a lot of Classic Ruby's old content, and I saw you on one of her first videos 6 years ago, and I was like, yo, Don Teasy is a supporter, so appreciate you, man. Mary Bell, appreciate you like always. Cool Gamer, shout out to you, appreciate you. Lady Noah says, GP, we at it again. Let's go. Yes, we are. Again, loving the intro. Thank you for not switching it to fire, clapping hands, the chat for the fam. Yes, we're not going to switch it up too much. We're going to keep it the same. All right. We're in the matrix. Okay. We're online. So it's the matrix. Everybody virtually trying to connect in some little weird way and a positive way. On this end, we try to keep it positive as possible with a little bit of engagement for y'all guys. So I appreciate you. All right, so we have somebody that's come up. So our special guest, Martha, if you have the time out, you can cam up if you want to, and we can have the conversation, and then we can go from there. Oh, thank you. Gracias. Okay, so we're going to have our special first guest come up, and we can do the introductions. So I want to make sure I do this right. Hey, lady, appreciate you. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well.
My name is Erica Brawner, and I am a former IFBB Pro bodybuilder, certified in nutrition, plant-based nutrition, and I'm a regenerative health concierge. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. How long have you been doing the? I think you said the second one. How long have you been doing that?
The concierge?
Yes.
Since 2017.
Okay. Appreciate you on that one. Thank you very much. And everybody, we're going to have their links below if you want to contact everybody for the information. So Thank you for that. So I'm gonna let you down and invite somebody else, and we're gonna get everybody else together. Thank you.
Thanks.
And next on the list, appreciate you very, very much. So Miss Cynthia Decker, I know you don't know this, but you are a fan favorite of mine. Okay, I feel like everybody like Pokemon.
I think I
here.
know. You've been trying to get me on this show with politics talk, all kinds of stuff, and now you were like, "Listen, let me go in her inbox and say, okay, I got a topic you can do." Well, yes, I can do this topic, so I'm very happy to be here and finally be able to do this podcast with you. And as you know, I'm Cynthia Decker, and if you don't know me, I have been in the TV world a good amount. I've been on, I had a show called Double Divas. I also was on 90 Day Fiance Pillow Talk, and I now am doing virtual bra fittings, and Breast Friends is my name of my new business. And I say, let's be breasties. But I feel like I can really talk about this topic because I also design lingerie for larger ladies. So I've always dealt with all different body types. And so I know the struggle's real. So I'm hoping I can help out with this conversation tonight.
I appreciate it. I think you will. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna let you down. All right, and last but not least, okay, so Marcus is going to be our translator for this conversation. So Martha, appreciate you for allowing us up and coming on through.
¿Es mi oportunidad?
Sí, por favor. Yo voy a estar aquí para Grateful, para traducir para usted. Mucho gusto, Marta. Felicidades y que Dios le bendiga. Te agradecemos mucho por estar aquí con nosotros. Yo voy a hacer traducir para usted y no se preocupe, que todo esté calmado. Va a ser una conversación muy suave, muy calmada, muy chido. Todo bien.
Bueno, realmente, buenas noches. Muchísimas gracias por la invitación. Estoy un poco lejos de la dinámica. Te soy bien honesta, un poco lejos de la dinámica. Entonces, bueno, me imagino que estamos hablando un poco de fitness. Entonces, mi nombre es Marta Perdomo. Tengo 46 años. Llevo en el tema del fitness hace aproximadamente 10 años. Hace 3 años con un programa establecido de pérdida de peso y bueno, no sé qué más es la dinámica, estoy un poco confundida.
Ok. Y todo está bien. Y voy a estar traduciendo por sí, poco por poco, para saber, porque sabemos que vamos a tener una conversación grande con ustedes aquí, vamos a tener otras personas de diferentes partes del país, de Estados Unidos también. And just to translate real quick, she said that, hi, again, she said she's very grateful. Thank you, Great Pill, for inviting her. She knows she's in a different part of the dynamic from a different part of the world. She does appreciate it. She says she's 46 years old. She's into the fitness industry. Again, she just wants to make sure she understands the dynamic and how you tend to regulate and how you want to carry on your show. And other than that, just she's glad she's here.
I have first. Do you mind just explain a little bit and give me like 2 minutes? Take over for a minute, Marcus, so I can reboot.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, if you just want to translate, introduce, and ask her about the fitness and stuff, just a little mini interview. Give me like 2 minutes, please.
All right, no problem.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. So, mientras ahorita, Marta, que esté el Great Pill, ahorita va a hacer su reboot y va a hacer refresh su computadora, su sistema. Nomás queremos saber de ti, lo que es tu experiencia en sabiendo lo que es atlético, lo que es de fitness, lo que es de ser, en el mundo.
Se cortó. Se cortó la comunicación.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. We had like a minor glitch. Marcus, are you there? Because I saw you had backed out.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I just all of a sudden just snapped like Thanos, and I was out. Can you hear me though?
Go ahead. You want to just finish up? Yeah, we hear you. I don't know what part you had started to finish. So if you want to go ahead a little bit, and then
Okay,
we'll
so
bring everybody else up.
okay, Marta, otra vez, disculpa, nomás porque tenemos dificultades técnicos ahorita, por donde estamos en la parte de Estados Unidos, pero nomás queremos saber, por favor, la experiencia que tienes desde que te metiste, tu vida, cómo es que encontraste tu parte de tu vida aquí en el momento de fitness, del gimnasio, de lo que es atlético. Por favor, nomás queremos saber de ti, de su vida, cómo empezó la vida de Marta, Cecilia, perdón.
Gracias. Bueno, ¿cómo empezó la vida fitness? Mi vida fitness empezó hace 10 años después de quedar viuda. Soy viuda de terrorismo en Colombia y después de entrar en este proceso entré en una depresión aguda donde me fue muy difícil salir, y dentro de los primeros recursos que encontré para poderme ayudar para esto fue el deporte. Fue a través del deporte donde empecé este camino de salir de la depresión. Ya me fui enamorando del tema fitness, del tema alimentación, y paso a paso, día a día, del caminar, del ejercicio, de sanar. Me enamoré del ejercicio, me enamoré del mundo fitness, y bueno, ya eso implicó ponerme a estudiar, aprender de alimentación, aprender del tema entrenamiento. Pero mi enfoque ahora mismo es entendiendo la fórmula, ¿no? Que dice que es 80% alimentación y 20% ejercicio. Entonces, mi enfoque es tener las tres áreas alineadas. ¿Y eso qué significa? Dice la palabra que nosotros somos tripartitos. Somos cuerpo, mente y alma, ¿verdad? Y que las tres cosas deben de estar alineadas, que para que haya una salud integral, la mente, el cuerpo y el alma deben de estar en control. Entonces, para mí es muy, muy básico, y trabajo en que todos estos tres pilares estén en órbita, estén en balance, ¿no? En balance. No es tan fácil, pero creo que el deporte va de la mano con el tema espiritual y con el tema de alimentación. O sea, para mí eso es muy, muy relevante. Mi proceso ha sido ese, ha sido desde el interior expresado en el exterior, y desde ahí, bueno, pues hoy me dedico a ayudar a cambiar, hábitos de alimentación. Enseño a las personas a comer desde ese enfoque de tener una salud integral balanceada, de aprender a comer teniendo en cuenta la salud mental, la salud emocional y la salud física.
All right, so
Marcus, because I don't want to make sure she over talks so you can translate everything.
Yeah, and like I said, don't worry, I won't long stroke, and I could just sum it up too, just for simple, basic translation. But basically,
if she
the time that she
short also.
Yeah, I got you.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Y otra vez, Marta, nomás porque vas a tener gente aquí también en el panel ahorita hablando. A veces vamos a tener un poco menos tiempo para poder hablar y decir diferentes oraciones y sentences y todo eso, y puntuación y grammar y todo lo que sea, pero otra vez, voy a decir lo que tú decís ahorita, pero en menos palabras. So basically what Martha was saying was, at the time that she was widowed, and, when, she was in depression, she found fitness as a way of helping her, saving her, dealing with that as well, battling through that. And she found exercise. Then she found sports to be able to dwindle down into that hole of fitness of the industry. And, as she went on, she started looking more into nutrition. She started looking more into the rabbit hole of that in itself, the different training methods itself. And she said to herself that it's just like your spirit, your mind, your heart, your soul, and your body itself. It's to make sure you balance it out and make sure that everything is okay and it's cognitive in itself. So again, that's what she says she appreciates about it. She found herself under that depression, the anxiety, the loneliness, and just, the stuff that she did. And she said at that age that she was at, she thought she wasn't going to be able to get out of it, but she did. And, that's basically what she said.
So definitely thank you, because that's pretty much most of it. That's how I found Erica and most guys in T25. Like, I was in the South. Everybody loves to eat in the South, and then next thing you know, I had my own issues and struggles at that time, and I was watching infomercials 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, I'm gonna get to it. Nothing ever happened. And then my mother came to the door one day and just like made this like comment like, "Oh, your face is just getting fat and whatever." And I was like, okay, now I'm gonna jump into it. And I think the extra motivation for me, which not for most, was me just spending like $300 for something that I would never spend that much money on at all. And when I still got the like the T25 from Beachbody, the exercise CDs, I still didn't understand it. So I was still looking, and that's pretty much how I found Erica Brawner. And she sat me down. We had a whole conversation, even down to the foods, because I'm like, most of the stuff, I'm like, I'm not eating this. Like, it needs some seasonings with it. And I just took baby steps and learning, and it made it a challenge for me for being in the South, because a lot of foods that I was accustomed to, everybody loved to throw the fatty, greasy, I consider them all no-nos, the salt, the salties, the butter, the sugary foods, and I'll consider those all no-nos over time. And then that was it. So when I felt like I got understanding of what to eat a little bit more better, especially being in the South, because again, everybody doesn't have all the money. So I had to be smarter with it and be a little bit more wiser. So if I came across something, I would just reach out to Erica, like, hey, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? And then I'll just go right back on and do my little homework and stuff. And I kind of push forward on there on my own. And then I just came across a lot of great, wonderful people just within Beachbody, and then outside my own area of just that little fitness world. So I'll leave it like that, because I don't want to long stroke it. You can please translate that to her. And then once you're done, then I'm just going to invite everybody else for the conversation. And again, thank you, Marcus.
Yeah, no problem. Y otra vez, Marta, muchas veces dijo Great Pill Podcast, el Angeles dijo, muchas gracias por compartir esa historia que dijiste, porque en su vida personal, su experiencia, la gente con que él conectó sobre media social, sobre canales de YouTube, lo que sea, y otras páginas, lugares ahí, con gente, dijeron que tú no estás sola, que hay mucha gente que están batallando con depresión, o son viudos o viudas, o crearon algo en la familia, algo le pasó que le lastimó, y a unos que no tienen mucha de la fe, unos que sí tienen de la fe, unos que sí tienen esa esperanza, y bueno, la humildad para poder seguir adelante y no rendirse, porque dijo, ¿sabes qué? Tenía que buscar cosas cuando estaba subiendo de peso el Grey Pill. El Ángeles dijo, ¿sabes qué? La gente me está diciendo, ¿sabes qué? Tu cara está engordando, estoy comiendo muy mal. Y luego, ¿sabes qué? Pues el dinero, muchas veces las comidas que son más saludables cuestan más. Es más cara la comida saludable. So digo, ¿sabes qué? Déjame ver lo que tengo que hacer, porque sabes que él siendo del sur, de ahí donde está en Estados Unidos, en esos estados del sur le gustan hacer mucho con el aceite, con la grasa, cocinar así alimentos que no son tan buenos para los alimentos de tu cuerpo. Pero dijo, ¿sabes qué? En pensar, no tengo mucho dinero para estar gastándolo más en lo más saludable, pero sabes que voy a tener que vender el dinero y estirar la comida que sea saludable, también muy buena para ti, para los alimentos. Y después de eso, pues también agarró las bicicletas de ejercicio, y en eso tiene que saber abrir los libros y entender más, porque es algo más que no más algo bien simple que de ejercicio. Y dijo, ¿sabes qué? Es una tarea que tienes que ser un maestro de tu propio cuerpo para saber que sabes que tengo que hacer todo esto para estar aquí mentalmente y para el físico también. Y luego, ojalá, luego, en paz. Te digo otra vez que muchas gracias, y que sí, todo, Marta, por estar aquí todavía otra vez.
I appreciate that. I'm going to invite everybody else, so here we go. All right, let's get it. All right, it's been a long time coming. I feel like this is, out of all the shows we've done, I feel like this is the best one ever. It just gets started. All right, so the conversation topic of interest is pretty much fat versus skinny. I felt like it was a very, very interesting conversation with a lot of people having their own issues. We had Martha explain a little bit. I explained a little bit of my personal growth with just health and fitness. I feel like I understand just for myself because, again, everybody's different, right? So I can explain a little bit for myself what I went through. I know we had somebody in the chat like, hey, they like the big women, and that's fine. You like who you like. Everybody's beautiful, skinny, tall, fat, short, whatever. But just understand, if you like what you like and you want to like it and love it a longer time, you got to think about your health too. All right. So that's where we're coming from with this conversation. So I thought it was a very interesting one. Anybody besides Martha want to add anything to the conversation as far as just, what you prefer? Well, we'll just ask this, like, is being overweight, is it a choice? Like, y'all want to add your insight to it before we get to the video?
My opinion is not necessarily.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily a choice.
Okay. Cynthia?
So,
I think it is a choice. I think that you can have disabilities and things that limit your motion, but nothing limits you from doing this. I know, because I was a big kid. I was big most of my teen life. I did not actually lose weight until I was in my 20s. And I worked out, I rode bikes, I did all kinds of stuff, but I was a big girl. And, I'm a thinner girl now. And I mean, it was a choice. It was a choice to cut out the carbs and the processed foods and the sugar and the things that I grew up on. I mean, I'm a Southern girl. I ate, fat back and collards and all of it, and I was a big kid. My grandmother fed me. My Nana fed me all the time. I ate and I ate and I ate. I mean, and I know it's a choice, because we have to make a choice every day what we do, and what you eat is a choice.
Fair.
Yeah.
Wes, you were saying something. I'm sorry. Yeah, I heard it in the background. I'm sorry, Matt. Go ahead, try it again. I muted you while you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I don't like being silenced.
The pettiness.
I think for the vast majority of people, it is a choice. I think there's very few people that legitimately don't have a choice in the matter, and that's with some severe health issues that they just can't get around. But for most people, for most people in the world, for most people in the United States, all they have to do is stop drinking soda. Mm-hmm. Stop drinking soda. Like if you go out to eat, it's either water or unsweet tea. Mm-hmm. The biggest culprit is going to be your sweet tea and your sodas.
Okay.
You'll drop 10 pounds just from doing that if you're so.
Exactly, and just walking. Mm-hmm. Like it was crazy. One person I know, she was smoking.
Water.
Yes, she was smoking. She stopped smoking. She stopped the sodas, drank more water, and just casually walked and dropped like 10, 20 pounds.
Yeah. What was that great pill you thought you were going to ask me something?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to translate that real quick for Martha. And then
Hola, Marta. Otra vez, ahorita estamos en este tópico de la conversación. Estamos preguntando si sabes que si la gente que sube de peso o que está muy, muy mal el peso, ¿es decisión o es porque no tienen opción de vivir así?
She's muted. Hold on.
Creo que está muy muted, Marta.
Yo creo que es decisión. Hay una frase que me gusta mucho, que es: solo el dolor nos hace crecer. Entonces, hasta que no te duele lo suficiente, no tomas acción, ¿no? No tomas acción en pro de salir de ahí. Pero siempre se paga un precio. Entonces, si yo hago y hago ejercicio, estoy pagando el precio. Pero si no hago ejercicio y me sigue doliendo, no verme al espejo, estar obeso, también estoy pagando un precio. Entonces, es decisión. Y no decidir también es una decisión. Para mí es decisión.
Okay, so for her, she said it's decision, and that it's all a balance as well. You don't understand, like, hey, some people may be born with certain things, with certain deficiencies. However, at the end of the day, it is your choice, and that's the power you do have.
Okay, Erica, Ruby, anybody want to chime in?
Well, I would like to. So, it's so hard for me to just shut up and let other people talk. We know this, but I'm practicing. I'm becoming an adult. Okay. But for real, for me, I'll say it's 100% a choice. And I say that knowing my little cousin, for example, she had thyroid disorder from the time she was about 5 or 6. She had thyroid cancer, had her have her whole thyroid removed when she was 17, 18. And, she'd always been a little bit overweight and whatever. And it was always blamed on her thyroid, but it had nothing to do with her thyroid. It had to do with the food choices she was
Yep.
making. And she proved that because when she was in her early 30s, she decided she no longer wanted to be, a really tall girl who's also pretty overweight. And she started making different choices. She dropped down her weight. But the thing that really showed me that it's definitely a choice is I actually knew a human being. He went to my high school, and when everyone nicknamed him Doe. And he literally, everything he ate turned to fat on his body. He literally was going to die for sure, because no matter what he ate, everything was going to turn to fat. And he was supposed to die by the age of 12 from being so severely, super morbidly obese that he wouldn't be able to move. It would shut down his body. And yet here we were with him graduating high school, going off to college and stuff because of the choices,
Yes.
even given that he had this, incredibly rare disorder that literally made you, if you ate a piece of lettuce, it was going to turn to fat on your body. And even him, he had choices, so much so that he delayed the inevitable by a couple decades just because of his choices, And so when I look at everybody else, I'm like, I was 230 pounds. And when I chose to make different decisions, I was able to lose 6 dress sizes in 6 weeks. Just from making different decisions about what I'm physically putting into my mouth, and combining that with a little bit of extra exercise and stuff like that. But weight loss is all calories in, calories out.
Yeah.
That's it. So you can choose to figure out what a calorie is, and choose to recognize that sauces and liquids and drinks and stuff all have calories too, and choose to calculate that, or you can choose not to. But let's not pretend that it's all genetic. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. Well said. Erica?
Well, wow, there was a whole lot of talking there with everyone. I see both sides of the coin, not just from the medical standpoint and from the everyday standpoint. And there's a reason why so many people fail diets is because they get frustrated, they get misinformation, and they get fed up, and then they binge. So is that a choice? Yes, it is. But a lot of it also is from lack of support, lack of knowledge, lack of resources. And, if you don't have some of those basic things, it can be very hard to consciously make that choice because you feel like the only choice is to stay where you are. So I've been at where I've lost weight, I've gained weight, I've lost weight, I've gained. I'm a pro bodybuilder. I mean, if 1% turns pro, I know how to do it. I made the choice. But I also recognize that not everybody can make a choice for whatever reason is happening in their life at the moment. So I think also having empathy for people is important.
I agree.
I mean, for me, it's not about empathy. I mean, I have empathy for so many women. I have been fitting women since I was 18 years old. I have stood in front of long mirrors, putting bras on women, some women whose husbands haven't even seen them with the light on. And so I understand, and I have so much empathy for these women because, but what the common denominator is, and the thread that I noticed in my years of dealing with women and fitting is that, we as women, number one, we're very hard on ourselves. We also put a lot of value on what we look like, when really we need to value what's on the inside, and we need to work on fixing that, because when we fix that, that is what's going to change our outer appearance. Just like you said, it's very hard for women. I mean, I've been a yo-yo. I've gone up and down my whole life. But when I made a choice that everything that I put in my body, I look at it as fuel for my car. So do I want to drive, a golf cart, like a putt-putt, or do I want to, be in a better vehicle that's going to last me longer? So I've got to choose and make good choices of food. I can have whatever food I want right now, but I choose to eat something that's not processed, not having growth hormones, GMOs in it. I try to eat as clean as possible. And I'm doing that at 52. I didn't always do that, but I've learned later in life that my body aches if I eat sugar. I feel bad if I eat carbs. I can't do dairy. I mean, and when you look at that on a whole for women, yeah, we can make the choice to do it. But we have to love ourselves, and we have to put ourselves first in order to want to make that choice. And so to me, it really starts more with your mental health and where your mindset is before you go into a diet. And that's what I think.
It's not about the men. There's a lot of men out there too.
And there's a lot of men out there.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I'm just speaking from my experience. I mean, I've had men in the dressing room that I've been in there and put bras on. So I can talk about that too. And I have some that are overweight that need bras because of their breast. So
Really?
I've done that too. And it goes both ways.
Gynecomastia.
I mean, yeah, you're making a choice of
Oh,
what
wow.
food you want to eat.
Yeah, that's
A
why
lot
the
of
root
that
word in
is like-
gyno.
Yeah,
I'm
and
sorry,
it
go
comes
ahead.
from several reasons. It's fat that goes there a lot of times if they've taken steroids or misusing testosterone. That's a very common side effect of it, and it happens also to people who don't necessarily use steroids, but also just have a very unhealthy diet.
Okay.
Their
Marcus,
hormones are imbalanced, so they get fat in their breasts.
okay. Marcus, if you could translate a little bit, and I'm gonna get straight to the video.
Okay. So nomás Marta, para traducir, interpretar lo que estaban diciendo, dijeron que la experiencia de Cynthia con las mujeres, dijo que tenían muchas veces batallaron con el peso o depende del ejercicio que era, y muchas veces las mujeres entre ellas se critican muy duro, muy en el espejo o entre grupos de amigas, socios. Y también dijo la señorita Erika, dijo que sí, hay gente que batalla en diferentes formas, pero al mismo tiempo sí es lo que controlas lo que va por tu boca. También, como dijo la señorita Ruby, dijo que ella pesaba antes 230 libras o más y bajó, pero la decisión que ella tuvo era de decisión, es de controlar lo que estabas comiendo. Tenía una prima que tenía un problema del thyroid, y por eso dijo que supuestamente era la excusa de subir de peso, pero aún si todavía después la prima bajó de peso. Y en eso después, bueno, estamos hablando de lo que la gente, a veces los hombres forman el ginecomastia, lo que es en el pecho, porque muchas veces es la dieta o lo que estás comiendo, lo de nutrición que eres negativo, y muchas veces también es lo que a lo mejor por esteroides, el uso de esteroides, usando drogas para enhanzar su físicamente, muchas veces puede ser por el testosterona, lo que está ahí, o si no, muchas veces es algo que puede decir entre ellos lo que están comiendo también. Eso es lo que nomás quería traducir contigo. Muchas gracias, Marta.
Okay.
Who's saying accept me the way I am. She's not just saying accept me the way I am. She's dressing extremely scantily clad and then saying if you don't think that it's normal for a morbidly obese person to be wearing a G-string in the middle of public, then you're the problem.
Being fat or skinny is a choice.
All right. So we pretty much covered that question. So we're going to hear their response, and then we can respond from there and take it from there.
Agreeers?
And chat, definitely let us know if you agree or disagree. Thank you, lady. She's already on it. Appreciate you.
Of course, not every factor is purely choice. I don't think that every factor is, but I do think a majority of it is. And in most cases, for most people, being skinny or being fat is about willpower. It's about the environment you grow up in, sure, but who you choose to associate with, what sort of things you choose to listen to, who you choose to kind of have as your friends around you and support you. All of those things are choices that you can make that will lead you closer towards being one or the other.
I know what I do with my body. I know what I put into it day in and day out. I choose not to eat some days. I choose, how I want to look. And I don't fault anyone for how they want to look or how they want to be, but I think it's a choice at the end of the day. I'm very, always wish-washy on how I want to be presented and if I want to gain weight or not. But the only person that's going to gain the weight at the end of the day is me and me myself.
For me, it's calories in, calories out. Go to the gym, you'll get buff. Don't go to the gym, you won't get buff. I understand that there's genetics that could cause you to want to eat more, but even with the genetics that cause you to want to eat more, the same solution is calories in, calories out.
I think the whole choice is, always determined on who they are. And it's not going to just be a thing done overnight.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of, I think it's like breaking the barrier and breaking a lot of things, not only your body, but also breaking your mental state.
Yeah.
And again, that depends on who you are and what you want to go through.
All right. We'll let Marcus, if you mind translating real quick.
You were gonna call me Martha, weren't you?
Do you want me to?
No, that's not my pronoun. My pronoun is His Majesty.
All right, Your Majesty, by your grace.
I was going to say, I just have a suggestion. I don't know if it would work though, but would it be possible maybe Marcus could be doing some of the translating by typing, and just so that way, like as the conversation's going, then Martha's not waiting 20 minutes to find out what the heck's happening. Like maybe
I was kind of trying to do that in the private chat too.
Yeah, like if you let Martha know that you're gonna translate, as we're going along in the private chat, then at least she's not like sitting there waiting 25 minutes until like knowing what the heck's happening.
But if she were able to do this on a computer, that means you could just call her on the phone and translate as you go. That way we don't hear what's going on.
Yeah, but that's an extra step. So I'll take Ruby's suggestion. So Marcus was doing that mostly in the private chat. So just let her know whatever's going on, you'll translate that in the private chat, and then anything else a little bit, you'll just add on outside Marcus.
Mm-hmm. We have to like say it to her though, because she's not.
I gotta call him His Majesty. Your Majesty.
Your Majesty, King Marcus. If you could just.
That's
but
better.
yeah, you'll have to
This is
probably
like
say
Game
it
of
to her, like
Thrones.
speak it to her, so she knows where the private chat is and to look in there, because not people don't necessarily know that.
Okay. Marta, pues a veces por esta conversación en el stream, mientras que está aquí vivo ahorita, o porque como hay mucha gente, hay muchos videos o hay mucho material que vamos a estar usando, muchas opiniones, a veces voy a estar traduciendo por al chat privado, donde puedes puchar el chat y luego va a ser donde dice el chat privado ahí. A veces voy a estar poniendo la conversación para traducir para ti, para que entender lo que la gente está diciendo en el video, material, en la social media, lo que sea. Así porque mientras el tiempo que esté pasando, no estamos destrasados para atrás 20, 30 minutos y poder estar aquí en tempo.
Okay, good stuff. Ruby, you had a thought? Also, say like anybody asking about what's the topic, the thumbnail is there. The title's description is there. The conversation is going. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, Ruby.
Oh no, I would love to hear what Martha was about to say. I think Martha was gonna
I'm sorry.
say something
There you
maybe.
go.
So I don't know, but
yeah.
Well, he had to translate for her, so go ahead, Marcus.
Can you go ahead and repeat? I don't know what she said. I'm sorry.
Oh, actually, if she had any thoughts on the matter, or if you need to translate a little bit of it.
Oh, Marta, te queremos preguntar, mientras que estaba viendo el video, ¿qué pensaba de las opiniones de lo que estaba diciendo la gente en el video? Mientras que estaba viendo lo que están jugando ahorita, que están tocando ahorita de material.
Bueno, yo considero lo que están haciendo. Me gustó mucho la todo base para mí sigue siendo lo mismo, ¿no? Uno, la decisión, y dos, el tema de la alimentación. Entonces, me gustó que sí, que las mujeres nos damos mucho látigo, que no sabemos reconocer, ¿verdad? Eso nos cuesta muchísimo a la hora de perder de peso, a la hora de hablar de un proceso deportivo. Entonces, y resueno con esta información. Me gusta la idea de poder transmitir un mensaje de que todas que creo que a todas les ha pasado lo mismo con participantes o en su propio proceso, porque todo proceso empieza por sí mismo, ¿verdad? Empieza con el mío, ¿sí? Desde allí pues ya yo voy a ayudar. Entonces, nosotros a la hora de ver un proceso somos muy exigentes, nos enamoramos del tema, entramos a hacer mucha exigencia, reconocer, y a veces los procesos también se paran cuando caemos en ese tipo de frustración, ¿verdad? Se paran muchísimo cuando caemos en esa frustración. Entonces, creo que lo más hermoso del proceso es no paralizarnos y poder seguir desde el dolor, desde la frustración, y aprender a reconocer, aprender, ver el paso a paso y el día a día y ver la foto. A mí me gusta mucho hablar de eso porque digo, bueno, ¿cómo me puedo reconocer o cómo puedo ver un avance físico, sí? Porque si bien buscamos salud, también sabemos que todos queremos vernos físicamente bien, que el ser humano por naturaleza es vanidoso. Entonces, ¿cómo ver y valorar el proceso? Bueno, el proceso lo podemos ver y valorar, nada más nos habla que el espejo, nada más nos dice eso que el espejo. Entonces, coincido con todas, creo que es decisión, creo que es de alimentación, creo que a todas nos ha pasado lo mismo, el tema de la frustración. En lo personal, batallo mucho con eso, batallo mucho con el tema de no dejar caer en el estancamiento y estoy frustrada. No estoy...
Okay, well, muchas gracias otra vez por lo que dijo. She's basically saying, hey, a lot of times it's from the frustration, and a lot of times, hey, she's gonna stick to it, like what she said. A lot of times it's gonna be your choice, and also what's in your proximity as well. And at the end of the day, it's also your habits as well. It's what you're gonna give into. You need to find a way to control certain things and find a substitute for it as well. A lot of times she agrees with the fact that a lot of the people up on this panel and the video as well, that, hey, from the side that, hey, it is your decision, it is your choice. And that, you know, being more fit is a better way of life and a better balance in her opinion and from her perspective. And in general, she said, and then she also appreciates the fact that while she's sitting here in this panel as well, having this kind of being able to have this discussion, like a civil discourse as well.
I appreciate that. Anybody have anything to add to the gentleman on the video? Are we all agreeing with Martha so we can move on?
Move on, I think.
Okay, there we go. Here we go.
Agreeers?
I felt like as a toddler, I always viewed myself as big. I grew up in a very poor home, so where my mom couldn't provide the meals that she could healthily. So when we would get free meals, even then it would be canned food, and it would be very much food that's not as edible. It was food for us, yes, but then I felt like once it reached a point where I was old enough to try to make my own choices, I made all of the wrong choices. I wasn't eating, and I was only eating grapes and lettuce, and that was mainly because I was in a sport, and that sport just worked me out so hard. And it was to the point where I just was scared to eat. I didn't like it. I would only drink water.
When you were eating grapes and lettuce, were you thin?
I was the thinnest I could be.
Were you still big though?
I was still big, but that was the skinniest I've ever been. And that's coming from somebody who was only eating somewhat salads that are just fruit and lettuce and water and maybe ice right before a practice.
Do you think that right now you would not be capable of becoming a thin woman?
I possibly would be capable of becoming a thin woman, but since I was young, I was supposed to get blood tested probably when I was very, very young, and I never did. And they had mentioned that it could have been because of my weight and how that connects with my thyroid. I never made the connection, and I never had that leaning parent to be go and get checked out, go and do this, your weight is probably not your fault. It was always your weight is your fault, so that's your issue.
I mean, I also struggle with,
All right, let me say this just on her behalf. And this is not me shaming her, but I hear the word ignorant come across my forehead. The lack of awareness down to the parents, how the parents chose healthy meals for her. Now, again, I'm with Cynthia in this because, born in the South, but raised up North, right? And I came in the South. That's all they just give you whatever they had. And it's you just appreciate it or you don't. That's pretty much what the Southern motto, appreciate you don't. Now, when she was saying stuff about canned goods, now me coming up, learning what healthier things to do. Again, back to the money part. When she's saying canned foods, I'm did they give her SpaghettiOs? Versus green beans with the no salt in it, because between the two, one is a little bit more healthier, and when we talk about calories in, calories out, there's a less portion control you can have too with that. So I think it's excuses with that one.
One other thing I want to say about what she said was and I watch my 600-Pound Life because I love that show. It is my guilty pleasure. I actually eat while I watch it. I know that's crazy, but I'm apparently not the only one. So it's this thing. So I watch it because I'm fascinated by what the body can do. I mean, how much weight the skeleton can hold. But one thing what she said is all I ate was lettuce and grapes or fruit, and I drank water only, but I was still somewhat big. She wasn't just eating that. And that's what I've noticed on my 600-pound life. When they go to see doctor now, and he's given them this diet, and they've been saying they're following it, and they're doing everything the diet said, but they haven't lost any weight, but maybe 5 pounds, and they should have lost 35 pounds. And he's always, like, well, this doesn't add up. You're taking in more than you think you are. So my thing is, I think a lot of people, even myself, I can sit in front of a TV watching my 600-pound life and demolish an entire bowl of whatever it is I'm eating and not even know I did it until my esophagus is so full I can't eat anymore. I mean, I've done that. So I think that what happens is a lot of times they don't realize what calories they are actually consuming. Maybe she did eat the lettuce, but maybe she drank 2 or 3 Cokes that day. I mean, sometimes people don't associate liquid with calories, and you can drink a ton of calories in liquid. Orange juice, my God, has so much sugar. So I don't go for the excuse, I was only eating lettuce and I never lost weight. I don't believe that. I agree. Unless you've got a problem, like a health issue.
I agree. Wes?
I think this comes down to, first of all, is there a problem with my mic?
No, you're fine. Just the pitch a little bit high, but you're fine. I turned down a little bit.
Pitch is a little bit high. Hold on.
A little much, but it's okay. We love you still, sort of.
There's 2 problems there. A lack of education and emotional trauma. Mm-hmm. So our emotions can drive our diet. Every addiction goes down to some sort of a emotional problem that we're trying to deal with. Where the addiction is to trying to numb the pain. Mm-hmm. And there's worse addictions out there, like methamphetamines or maple syrup. But no, that's just a weak Canadian joke.
Very weak.
We caught it.
Really weak.
Okay.
So bad. Yeah.
Now the education portion there. She said she was eating grapes and lettuce. That probably really put her body into a state of shock there, because it's the first time she was eating anything somewhat healthy, but also there's no fat attached to it. Yeah. Your bodies are fat burners. If you're not eating any type of fat, your body's like, what's going on? And then her diet, her entire life, and then switching to that, her body had no clue what was going on. Honestly, if she had switched to an actual healthy diet where she's getting vegetables and fruits and getting, some good meat, she would have lost a lot more weight and felt a lot better. It's interesting that she was afraid to drink water. There's a lot of imbalances and toxicity within her body. So that's a lack of education. And then her not trying to go out and seek that education and truly understand what was going on. Mm-hmm. That's the emotional trauma. She wasn't wanting to deal with the trauma.
Wes, let me ask you this question, because I know when I was coming up my fitness journey, I just loved water naturally, right? But I also loved the sugar, sweet teas, but I never denounced the water. Coming up, I would know people, just selected people out the blue. It's like you pull a veil down, you start seeing a little bit more of certain things or certain people's. One more person I knew in particular, she was just like, I hate drinking water. Mm-hmm. And I never could understand why. Like, you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, so there's a brain chemistry problem. If you have children at a young age, like before they even have teeth, they're being introduced to things that have Splenda in it. That's changing the brain development. They don't know how to value what's coming in. The brain doesn't know what's going on itself. And then there are differences in quality of water. A lot of that water you get out of your tap, it's not good for you. Yeah. What happened was, in order to purify the water enough to make it, allegedly drinkable for a mass populace, they have to pour a bunch of chemicals in it and take different things out of it. And you're not getting the water that God intended. Okay. Natural water has magnesium, calcium, and other assortment of minerals in it. And it actually tastes sweet, even though there's no sugar in it. So one problem is you're not getting good water. that your body can identify as healthy and nutritious. The other part is the body doesn't even know what a good water would look like because you've been feeding it Splenda and all kinds of nonsense and toxins.
Yeah.
Well said.
The other part
anybody
of
else?
what she brought up, she's the one that brought up blood work.
Yes.
So it sounds like she didn't have access to good health care growing up, because most pediatricians would have said something maybe at an earlier age if she was bigger as a child, but she may have not had access to that health care, which is not her choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, and this is probably somewhere I'm sure you'll disagree with me, because you do probably have more empathy than I do. But to me, whenever I hear fat activists in particular bring up things like blood work, it's normally to either justify bad behavior or to give themselves an excuse. Right? And so to me, that's like, well, I didn't have the excuse before, so I used to beat myself up all the time and go on these crash diets where I was basically trying to starve myself. And then when I starved myself, well, I would lose 50 pounds in a month, but then I'd gain it back and then some. And because who can maintain starving themselves forever? I mean, God, if I have to starve myself forever, oh, it's my thyroid's fault. That's why. Like, okay, no, we have to, first of all, we need to unconflate it all. Okay. So the first thing is, no, most of the time, people who have been overweight since childhood, it's not your fault you're overweight, and it's not your thyroid's fault either, right? It's normally bad habits, bad eating habits, bad emotional coping habits, bad stress coping habits, whatever, that your family has passed down to you, and you don't know any better because you're a kid, right? And so you never should have been beating yourself up, period. Like, just no, don't. Forget the thyroid. You could have nothing wrong with you. You should not be beating yourself up because as a kid, you know, when you were sad, they would tell you to eat a donut and go sit over there. And so you started attaching eating a donut with feeling better. And so as you got older, your problems got bigger, your donuts got more, right? Like, that's not your fault. So you never should have been beating yourself up, right? But it's not your thyroid's fault either. And every fat activist has one of these stories where they starved themselves, right? Eating 17 calories a day. And then they're like, it's the smallest I've ever been, but I still wasn't small. Like, you didn't become hundreds of pounds overweight in a month, right? Like, it is literally impossible for you to lose all of your excess weight like in a couple weeks to a couple months, and you can't starve yourself indefinitely. That's the problem with jumping onto the crash diet fad. Right? You have to make small changes that are easy to live with, right? That aren't starving yourself.
And build from there.
And build from that and do it and just decide to yourself, I'm changing my lifestyle for a lifetime, right? So that's part of the issues. They always do that. And then they offer that as an example of why some people are genetically overweight. And it's like, no, honey, it's just because you're a human being, and human beings need thousands of calories a day to survive. So you can't just start eating 17 calories a day and then think that you'll lose all of this weight magically, because again, calories in versus calories out, it still wouldn't work that way. And B, think that, oh my God, well, if I couldn't maintain that and then I binged as a result, or I rewarded myself at the end of starving myself for a week with 10,000 calories, that it was all worthwhile. Like, it's like, you know, and that's, so I do agree with Wes and everyone who said that, you know, there's a large level of ignorance that's going on here, right? It's not people who
I don't even think
ignorant.
Think it's just ignorance. There is a lack of education, and that's why there's a big push right now for health equity nationwide, because there's lack of resources to lower income populations.
But it's not just that, though, because if it was, then what we wouldn't see so many people who were born and raised and are currently still in middle class or above, right? Socioeconomic statuses their whole lives. They went to schools like the school I went to, which, trust me, we had beyond that level of education. We also had classes called Live Fit and whatever we could sign up for in middle school and high school. So, you know, they're growing up in these exact same places also, right? But there is, and again, ignorance just has to do with you don't know, right? I don't know why we've attached it to you're a jerk or something. No, you don't know, right? So it's not always about, oh, well, you were just you were in a lower SES or whatever. Like, no, not everyone was. In fact, a lot of the fat activists were raised pretty affluent lifestyles, right? They just, maybe their houses were emotionally cold, or they had other issues going on oftentimes. And then again, lack of emotional health in households can also lead to being overweight, right? Or you go through a trauma.
Sexual abuse. That's
sexual abuse or other
thing
types
I
of
used to
physical
see.
abuse.
Yep, sexual. Because they
Right?
pad on the weight to protect themselves because they don't want to be touched.
Exactly.
And I see that a lot. And you know, the other thing that happens with the health issues, because some of them do have health issues, most of them do, because when your body's fighting all of these pollutants and the weight that shouldn't be there, your body's breaking down fast. So they end up with fibromyalgia, diabetes, all kinds of stuff. And then that becomes the excuse not to work out or not to change because they don't feel good, or they're taking this medication and they can't do it. And it becomes this vicious cycle. And, you know, and I tell people today, I'm like, get out, just move your arms, do something, get the bands. You can do something. Drink water, put the juice down, put the Coke down. You know, there's small things you can do that will change. And when you see those small things, those glimmers, you'll want to do more.
Yeah.
But we live with these excuses in our head of why we can't. And we've got to stop that. I mean, I've learned very hard this year. I've been through hell this year, and I'm really learning that, you know, what's important in life, and that's, you know, our mental health. The materialistic stuff really isn't, and that how we treat other people, the kindness, and that goes towards people that are obese. In my world, they never put a big girl in lingerie. I used to want to see that all the time. It was always the skinny models on the windows, and that drove me nuts because I'm like, most people don't look like that. They can't relate to that. But now I feel like our society as a whole has gone the other direction, full force. And instead of saying, okay, it's okay that you're bigger, we're not educating again as to that's not healthy for you. Sure, you look great, you think you feel good, but at the end of the day, that's cutting your lifespan. I don't care who you think you are. I'm not, you know, it's not healthy. Your body is not, your heart is not made to pump for that kind of a size of a body. It's going to have a strain on your joints. By the time you're my age, you're going to have knee issues. Most of them do. Then they can't do the exercise because now they've got knee and hip problems, or they got rotator cuff issues. I mean, I saw it all the time. And it's just from the stress.
Fair enough. Marcus, ask Martha, please, if she has any input, and then we'll move on to the video or respond to some of the comments in the chat.
Can you repeat the question real quick?
Ask Martha, because I know you was, just ask if she want to add any input to what you was let her know in the private chat.
Ok, Marta, nomás te queremos preguntar otra vez más, algo más de información o consejo o algo que puedes dar positivamente para la gente que está viviendo un estilo mal de sobrepeso, mal de salud, mal lo que están comiendo, algo de tóxico, comida, gente que no son activos en la mañana o en la tarde de hacer algo de ejercicio. ¿Tienes un tipo de consejo o algo en tu estilo de vida que has dado en tu experiencia?
Bueno, primero decirle a Rubí que me encantó su punto de vista.
She says she loves you guys' point of view. Por favor, Marta, el señal, no sé si puede ser más cerca a la pantalla o el volumen de tus audífonos, por favor, subirlo un poco, por favor.
¿De pronto ahí me escuchas mejor?
Perfecto.
Sí, mejor, perfecto.
Ok. Decirle a Rubí que me encantó su punto de vista, que definitivamente la gente ama que le digan que no hay que hacer nada. La gente ama que le hablen de la pastilla mágica. La gente ama que le hablen de lo rápido y de lo fácil, ¿verdad? Eso es la mercadotecnia. Y si quieres vender, pues tenemos que irnos por allá. Pero la realidad sigue siendo otra. Yo sé que con respecto a la alimentación hay mucho concepto que está derivado. Las personas quieren bajar de peso aguantando hambre, Por eso no hacen el proceso sostenible. No es comiendo menos que yo voy a bajar de peso, es comiendo más. La pregunta aquí es, ¿yo sé comer? Lo que yo necesito es saber qué es lo que necesito comer para ayudar a esa pérdida de peso sin aguantar hambre. Entonces, ¿yo qué le recomendaría ahora mismo a una persona que quiere bajar de peso y que quizás quiere hacer un proceso literalmente acelerado? No recuerdo cuál fue la que dijo, solo necesitas 30 minutos de actividad diaria y una dieta que esté alta en una buena fuente de proteína y de grasas saludables. Para mí eso creo que es una fórmula para una persona que quiera hacer un proceso de pérdida de peso. 30 minutos de actividad física, solamente de movimiento. Es más, no necesita ir al gym, simplemente caminar le va a hacer la diferencia en un mes. Solamente caminar, buena hidratación, una dieta alta en proteínas, en proteína animal y fuentes de grasas saludables.
Okay. Muchas gracias, Marta, otra vez. So basically translating, she loved what Ruby said. She loved the fact that calling out to people that they just want the shortcut, the magic pill, the quick result, the fact that, hey, we want to get this Bunsen burner type stuff of body shape of all of a sudden, we're going to get this pill, we're going to get this surgery, stuff like that. So she likes the fact that, hey, she agrees with Ruby on that. She says, no, it's actually even simpler than that. Just make sure you watch what you eat, get the better health choice. Instead of getting some potato chips, get some vegetables and fruits and stuff like that. And then also it's good that you will actually get a higher protein diet with healthy fats. Don't go for the bad fats. Don't go for the stuff that's saturated and stuff like that. Even if you just do 30 to 40 minutes of walking or power walking in the first month, you will find results. Understand that kickstarts the fat burning process. Understand that, hey, it'll be a bit of a struggle, but at the same time, nothing that comes in life needs to come easy. Things that are worth it will come hard. And understand that, hey, this is a process. It's not going to be done overnight. Just do the first month of walking, even if it's not even power walking, but then the next month after that, month 2, then you kickstart to power walking or jogging a little here and there. And then you do that and you progress, but you keep that high protein and a good healthy fats of diets. All right. Understand that. And some even people don't even call it a diet, call it a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And other than that, she said she loves the point of view. She loves the perspective so far, what she's hearing, and she appreciates the fact that Your Majesty himself, aka me, is translating in the private chat for her.
I swear to God. I appreciate you, sir. Anybody has any response? We're going to go to the video. Video it is.
Thyroid and my own blood issues. I'm not quite sure, but I do see an endocrinologist and I go see a doctor. It's a choice to do the requisite steps. It's a choice to go grocery shopping instead of going to fast food when it's easy. It's a choice when you're grocery shopping to go to the outer aisles and not go into the bread section and not go into the junk food section. These are all choices.
As a disabled woman, I can't do a lot of the things that people say, calories in, calories out. Oh, you got to go work out and exert it. A lot of the things that are typical, oh, this is how you lose weight, put me in the hospital. I have to navigate weight differently. I have to look at it differently. My weight is the way it is because of medication, because doctors put me in this position. And I had to learn, okay, am I going to be so hateful of my own body that I am going to backlash and put myself through extreme gym nights, through keeping myself from eating things that I should be able to eat? You should be able to have a balance. You should be able to go into the junk food aisle like other skinny people do and still not have to worry about gaining 20 pounds.
But I don't think skinny people go into this junk food aisle.
They
I think
certainly do.
They do.
They eat a lot of junk food.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, my DoorDash would tell you otherwise.
Yeah. There's a thing called set points. There's a ton of research on it that your body likes to be at specific weights. It likes to be in a specific way. So if you are fighting yourself to lose weight by not eating, over exercising, and you are damn near killing yourself to be at a specific weight, your body's unhappy.
It's important to note.
All right, I'll stop it there. For the woman that came, this is me because me and Ruby like to do our little investigation on people. She goes further in. If we haven't seen the video, I don't want to spoil it for anybody else, but she's pretty much a runway model. Not knocking it. Be successful in what you want to do, But at the same time, again, I'm standing a square of, you know, the excuses, what she was saying, the stuff that she was doing. Like, hey, and I'll even go further and say, hey, even if you're disabled from the waist down, you can still, certain foods you can do. You don't have to, you can't do squats, but, you know, like Cynthia said, hey, you can do some arm bands, you could do something, you know, the build. There's plenty of shout out to TikTok videos out there. We've seen plenty of videos where guys, even women, has no waist, no legs, and got better abs and more in shape than anybody I ever seen than their life. So again, we can't always make everything an excuse. But for the current woman that was stepping up saying, I forgot what she was saying about her reasoning, but it's not about, I guess, reaching a goal. Like I said, if you're in the class that you know, Erica was doing, then yeah, you're pushing toward a goal. But if I feel like if you're focusing on just healthy, because that's pretty much what I speaks to other people, just focus on a healthier way, and everything else will slowly fall into it. Now, if you want particular goals, like, hey, you know what, man, I'm losing weight just from walking. I'm losing weight for just power walking. You know what? Maybe I want to focus on my waist a little bit. Okay, there's a target goal. Hey, you know what? I'm looking better with my shapes. I'm getting from a size 10 to a size 8 to a size 5. Okay, great. Let me try to, you know what? I want to, you know, my goal was like, I want to lift my own weight. I went from 190 to 210, and I'm just throwing them. So you have particular goals from that. You don't have to reach that, but just if you're just focusing on little things and keeping consistent, you'll be fine.
I agree.
Yeah, I wanted to just really quickly address the set point issue.
And then
I
we'll let
addressed it
Erica
to
go.
I addressed it to Cjo Jay in the chat, and then they brought it up in the thing. So I just wanted to really quickly say that the way that people refer to set point is invalid. So there is a valid thing, that is to say that once you have had a consistent weight for a long time, your body will actually kind of work to maintain that. So that means you eat a little bit more calories or a little bit less calories, your body will maintain that same weight range, right? But that's literally because that's not the same thing that people mean when they're like, but what about your set point? No, the way that people are calling it set point, what it really is, and people don't realize this, between the oils in their food and all their sauces and their pop, and then the actual meals they're eating, and then their high fructose corn syrup, and then all of that, right? The amount of calories they're eating every day is 6,000 calories.
Yes.
Okay. And then even when they think that they are eating something lower in calories for 3 or 4 days, then on day 5 they binge and they make up all those calories. So overall in the week they're still eating, 42,000 calories, right? And so that's gaining about a pound a week, right? So what ends up happening is people think that, oh, it's my set point, but it's not. It's just your body is very used to eating about 6,000 calories a day. And so all of your habits, as far as what sauces you use, what oils you use, what foods you choose, means you're going to eat about 6,000 calories a day. And 6,000 calories a day, right? If you are, 120 pounds, that's going to have you gaining weight. Yeah. But if you're already overweight, 6,000 calories might be your maintenance calories. So you're eating 6,000 calories. Well, yeah, that means you're maintaining this weight. Yes. You're eating enough calories to maintain the weight you're at. So it's not a set point thing. If you were to drop 1,000 calories a day, you would lose weight, right? Because it's not about set point at that point. It's about how many calories you're eating. Because again, calories in versus calories out. So just wanted to
Fair enough.
explain that.
Erica, you had something you wanted to add?
Going back to the one that has a disability, I think she has something like lupus, where she's on a steroid, and long-term use of that, and who knows how strong her medication is going to cause her to gain weight. It's just going to do that. I've seen a lot of patients where that's happened. It really damages their whole immune system. It really damages their body. And at that point, they don't have a choice unless they go to an extreme level to then completely transform their immune system, which costs a lot of money, and insurance doesn't pay for it. So that's where it goes back to resources. I am a health advocate, but some people are not in the right place at the right time, have the right resources, or have the right support to get to where they want to be. She's in a rut right now with her disability, and that's her life right now.
So what's the solutions for her then, if it's just the medication?
She could explore different regenerative therapies that are out there. She would have to talk to a doctor that specializes in regenerative health, because every treatment is specific to that individual person. They would have to wean her off the steroids and get her on a different solution, but insurance doesn't typically cover it.
I want to speak
That's
up on
why I
this
have my job.
because I believe that, because I was on a lot of medications, and cortisone or prednisone is one of the worst, because steroids will blow you up. I actually lose so much weight that I look anorexic when I'm on it. So I have the opposite thing happen. But I just want to bring up that, I think we're too much into medicine. I think we need to get back to nutritious food. I mean, if you think about our food in the grocery stores, if you read the numbers on like an apple, you will see like 9s are organic, 4 you should never eat, and then below that, like, we really have to start looking at what's in our food.
Yeah.
Because I believe that a lot of these diseases that we're all having nowadays, fibromyalgia, lupus, all this stuff is coming, childhood cancer, breast cancer. I mean, if you look around, our world is full of illness, way more than it ever
It's inflammation.
was. Exactly. But the inflammation's coming from the food that we're eating, from the toxins in our environment, and stress. And if we can eliminate, grow our own food, buy organic if we can, eat as clean as possible, I believe that a lot of the things that people suffer with right now, including depression, because that's what I've suffered with my whole life, can really be cured through what we're eating. I mean, we're eating empty food. None of our food has minerals and nutrition, just like he was saying about the water. Our water's depleted. Our food is depleted. We're throwing chemicals on it. Bill Gates has got the new appeal coming on all of the fruits and stuff. Y'all know that that's got terrible, like, paint thinner and stuff in it. Like, my God, they're killing us through our food. And when people need to wake up and see that what we're putting in our body is coming out. It's coming out in inflammation. It's coming out in diseases. Children have boobs at 9 years old and are starting their periods when that never used to happen. I mean, we have to really look at our society. We're going backwards. We're not going forwards. We're mass producing food that has no nutritional value in it. I could eat 6 oranges that, were commercialized, and I'm not going to get the same taste, the same amount of vitamins that I would from an orange that was grown on an organic, like in my uncle's yard in Florida when I was growing up. It's different now. And that is the thing, is we all want to depend on a pill and what the doctor gives us, but we can treat ourselves at home. We can make that choice to eat good food.
Not if you have MS. You can't treat MS with just oranges.
I'm not saying everything, but MS is also, I believe, brought on by, inflammation and stress of our bodies. We're not born, always to have disease. I mean, I've had IBS. I've cured my own self of things. Colitis. I had terrible time. And I'm not making excuses, because I've had malignant melanoma. I mean, I'm just saying, we can't just blame everything on a pill. Like, we've got to start looking at and making good choices for our bodies, and looking at the numbers, reading the labels. Do you know how many food, like the bioengineered food? Everything I pick up now.
So this goes back to educating the public, which is why there's a push for health equity right now, because everybody should have the resources available to them so they can learn this. That goes back to all of what I was saying before.
Respectfully, Everyone
The
has
internet.
access to the
Pardon?
internet. Everyone
Yeah,
has
but-
access to the
No,
internet.
no, that's
Everyone has
not
access
true.
to
That
the
is
free
not
library.
true.
Everyone has access to the library. The library is free. And I
Yeah.
remember when I was poor, because I was
Can I
homeless
just
at one
can I
point,
add this
and
real quick too? Like
Yeah, go-
they don't just have a live, they don't just have a world. They, we still have these things called books.
Yeah.
People can open a book too.
Yep.
And like you can even ask
library.
questions. You can even go to your nutritionist. You can go to a personal trainer. You can go to somebody who's actually lived a healthier lifestyle. You can actually go to these places. If you can't even get or afford even internet, even if you can't get Wi-Fi, go ahead and ask questions. Like take it in, take the time, see what works for you. Just like the same thing with certain workouts, different regimens, whether it's HIIT, high interval, intermittent like training, stationary training, whether it's some type of cardio type training, whether it's plyometrics, whether it's dumbbell, barbell, whether it's free weights, whether it's calisthenics,
Even
whatever it is,
homemade weights. I got my own homemade weights here.
Listen,
Homemade.
prison inmates make homemade weights like that.
I have a trampoline right here. I'm not trying to make excuses for people. There is a legitimate problem out there, and people are not getting the right education. When we're in COVID and everything was shut down, there was a problem with families not having access to internet to be able to log into school.
Yes,
There is
during
a
COVID.
true
You're right.
COVID.
During COVID.
Yeah.
It's
Can
not
I-
during
can I
COVID
tran-
anymore.
It's-
People are not banned
Great,
from
so can I
public
translate real
libraries
quick?
and public buildings anymore,
Hold on.
right?
Yeah.
So
Still,
information is
families
available
still-
and free. And I'm
Go
saying
ahead.
that as a person who was 15 years old, 16 years old, and homeless. I'm saying that as a person who was not born and raised in the lap of luxury and had to figure stuff out on my own. I'm saying that as a human being who, yeah, you know what? Listen, I went to the rich white people's school when I was in high school, but that's because I was really, really smart, not because I was rich. And again, homeless for
She's a
a little
survivor.
while now.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that what we don't realize, because a lot of people like to talk about these lower SES classes of people and what they have access to or not, without actually really knowing a lot of those people and or having lived that life before. Right. And so again, this is where I'm going to say, having lived that life before and having family and close friends who still are in that space, there is a lot of choice involved, a lot of choice. Now, again, I'm not even hating on people for making a choice. Listen, it's faster and easier to go to the bodega down the block than to try to take 17 buses to try to get to Whole Foods or a good grocery store. Get it. I get it. You don't have the time, you don't have the energy. Even when you have the time and energy, listen, you just don't have the wherewithal. I get it, right? But the thing is, it's not that they don't know they shouldn't feed their kids chips and this and that and da 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 da. We're still making choices here. Okay. And so what I'm saying is there are things I think absolutely people don't realize or understand. They do not realize a tablespoon of olive oil has hundreds of calories in it. They don't realize that. They don't know that. Even though it's written on the bottle, people don't consider things like the thing that they cook their food in, right? I get it, right? But for us to like literally go to this place where it's like, oh, but come on, there's so much ignorance in the world. No, look, come on. This 1% chance for this person I have chronic pain. I have chronic illness. I'm currently on a steroid right now. When I was a child, I was on prednisone. I get it. But those are really limited and really small percentages of people who tend to have these conditions or tend to have these limitations to the point where it actually literally prevents them from losing weight. Most of the time, 99% of the time, it's people's choices. And they're informed choices because they know they should make a better choice, but they choose not to most of the time. Right. And let's stop talking about the 1%. Let's talk about the most of the time. Because if we could just really solve the most of the time, right, then we could improve overall what most of the messages going out there are for the people who have limited access to those resources and to that information. So that when they finally find someone online to listen to, they're not going to be hearing someone tell them that it's just genetic. If you were fat from the time you were a kid, well, you're going to be fat for life. So just give up now and keep eating 8,000 calories. You're going to be fat no matter what you do. Right. So we need to recognize that the messages that we're supporting where it's not your fault is actually becoming really, really harmful. And for the first time in forever, they're predicting that we're not going to outlive our parents. Right. The Gen Z is not going to outlive their parents. That's crazy. And it's all because of how massively overweight we are. It's crazy.
All right. We're going to let Erica respond and then Martha, then we'll go back to the video. Erica, if you had anything to add into.
I don't have a response right now.
Okay. Marcus from Martha, if you will, sir.
Sí, otra vez, Marta, además queremos preguntar lo que está diciendo la gente ahorita. Estamos hablando de lo que la gente quiere usar para excusas, pero gente que no sabe lo que deben de comprar en el mercado, donde van a un lugar para agarrar algo de a lo mejor alimentos, de a lo mejor de hacer un tipo de ejercicio estilo que estás en la casa. Si no tienes membresía a un gimnasio, si no puedes ir a un lugar público, algo así. Estaba yo explicando que hay diferentes formas de ejercicios pliométricos, usando tu cuerpo, calisténicos, lo que sea, si es pesas, si es el barra, si es de fierro así, o si hay como otras cosas de cardio así. Fácilmente lo que es Olympic lifting, lo que es así haciendo pesas olímpicos, movimientos olímpicos, lo que sea, y sabiendo estirándose bien. A lot of times people need to understand too, like you need to understand the type of body stretching as well. Kickstart your warm ups. There's dynamic stretching and aesthetic stretching, or dynamic warm ups. La gente que no saben, Marta, lo que es. No, I was bouncing back and forth because we got people like on both sides, so I don't want to get too lost too, Pero sí, nomás la Marta, más básicamente la gente que no pararon de preguntar preguntas o abrir un libro que tenían preguntas de hacer la vida de estilo más saludable. Pero tú quiero saber las opiniones que tú tienes o un comentario o otro tipo de consejo que puedes decir más en este tópico que estamos hablando ahorita en esta noche.
Estaban hablando algo de los tóxicos, de lo que es la toxicidad en la alimentación. Yo soy muy enfática en esto de la alimentación y considero que más allá de hablar de los tóxicos, hoy por hoy yo no sé, yo todavía no puedo deducir si el tema de quién tiene el negocio, si los ultraprocesados o la salud. ¿De quién es el negocio de la obesidad? Es la pregunta que yo le voy a dejar aquí a todos. ¿De quién creen ustedes que es el negocio de la obesidad? Creo para mí es un negocio que está en conjunto de las empresas de las galletas, de los ultraprocesados, los panecitos, los dulcecitos, las sodas, con el estado con el tema de salud, con el Ministerio de Salud del país, ¿verdad? Porque si eso no estuviera así, entonces, claro, es un negocio que yo vaya por la pastilla de la hipertensión, es un negocio de que yo vaya por la pastilla de la diabetes, ¿verdad? O que yo me haga diálisis. Es un negocio, me necesitan, ¿sí? Porque obviamente hay un sistema, ¿verdad? Que se mueve gracias a que yo voy por esa pastillita, lo que fueron las vacunas del COVID. ¿Por qué salieron tantas vacunas del COVID? No salieron una, salieron 4, ¿verdad?
Puede parar ahorita rápido y no quiero interrumpirla, pero acuérdese lo que va a decir ahorita después. Nomás quiero decir lo que ahorita dijiste. She's saying that basically the business of the market when it comes to mass producing these foods and the toxins, because she wants to focus on the toxic food and stuff, the epidemic of that's been happening, especially lately in these last couple decades. She's saying that the toxicity in all the food, but also the business market of, hey, the go-to of getting the pill to fight diabetes, the go-to to fighting hypertension, the go-to to fighting high cholesterol, the go-to to going and get maybe even dialysis and stuff like that, the go-to. But unfortunately, there's the market and the demand is there. And so that's where the people will substitute and put in these foods. That's why you see the foods that she says that are healthy, but they're more expensive, but the bad foods that are cheaper but more affordable. And that's an issue in itself. And unfortunately, we are where we are now because of that. And look, and remember, every time when the pandemic was happening, it wasn't just one pill. There was like 4 or 5 pills that came out. All right. That's just a layer, but I paused her halfway because it's a lot. But no, Martha, please continue.
Go ahead. Tell her.
I want to, you know what though? Can you see Lee's comment here at 9:40? I work in 2 major children's hospitals. They're constantly trying to educate parents and some do have very limited funding for food, and they are going to food pantries. We have food pantry list. Education. Going back to education.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And for me personally, it goes back to what me and Cynthia were saying, because, born in the South, but raised up North, came back to the South. I had to figure it out because up North, we're very active. We're on the go. We get up in the morning, we move here, move there, come back, done for the day, right? But again, that wasn't everybody up North. So I don't want to say, hey, everybody North is just skinny. It's not that. but a large majority of people in the South, like literally the day, and I still take it as an inside person joke, literally the day I decided I'm going to make a personal choice. This is the day I'm going to cut out all the everything else. And guess who started grilling and cooking the next day? My big cousins and them grilling all the nooks and crannies. And I looked at the sky to start laughing. But you really have to go out your way. Even though the food markets and the pantries it's like 50 miles out the way, you got to take the time out to say, you know what? Again, with the woman with the excuses, like, hey, I get canned goods. My mom give me canned. Okay, well, you got SpaghettiOs, 300 something calories. You got a can of green beans, 30 calories.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. Okay, spinach and what is it? Can of spinach and that was literally I literally made a meal prep out of it. Can of spinach, 20 to 30 calories. A can of stewed tomatoes, 20, 30 calories. At that, you kind of mix and choose. It was like what, $1 or something. So you can take the time out to find out your budget to go from there. And I will also suggest go inside your cabins and look around. I remember a person I dated who was like, hey, I want to go in the whole healthy thing. I was okay. Look in your cabinet, take out all the no-nos. That pretty much was like 80% of her cabinet. And guess what the excuse was? I have a 60-year-old son who wants this and want that. Well, is he working? Well, does he have like a little budget? Matter of fact, the whole household need to be involved in this too, because if that's your excuse, guess what's going to happen? It's a drug. It is a drug. Soda alone, we just had that, is a drug. If I take out all the cookies and sweets, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, if we take out all the sugars and sweets, and then we're like, hey, well, my 17-year-old want the cookies, whatever, we bring it back in, you're going for it. For the whole first year, Cynthia, I literally had to hide stuff from myself because I know if I see it, I'm grabbing it.
I'm gonna eat it.
I'm grabbing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's also the dopamine levels too in a lot of these foods that are very bad for you.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that triggers that in itself to the cerebral aspect of it, because it's a comfort food, so you feel more relaxed. You eat the bag of Doritos, you eat the peanut M&Ms, etc., soda, whatever it is, and you think about it. Just think about it simply. Put it in basic terms. If you can dip your car parts and it cleans the rust off, I don't think you should actually drink that. If it's saying that red dye of all the artificial colors is actually causing a lot of cancer, don't eat it, please. Try to fight it. And I know my issue was when I was younger, I was a really skinny twig of a kid. I used to like the hot Cheetos, but even then I can't eat Takis because I will literally mess up my stomach. There's something that my stomach. Yeah, and they're probably the worst more than the hot Cheetos.
I don't know. Hot Cheetos and Takis are right up there together, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to go back to the internet access. You can see in the comments, Rogue Nerd says a lot of students don't have internet access. It was an issue in a lot of schools, in both my kids' schools. It's very easy research. I live in a really nice town. I did not grow up wealthy at all. My parents still live in the little house that I grew up in. And there were a lot of kids in my town who did not have internet access. So I'm stating facts.
Yeah, we'll say everybody versus the some.
Pardon?
Yeah, we'll say, we'll agree to disagree, say everybody versus some versus most, just for that argument's sake. I'm gonna go back to the video.
Common sense. I think we need to get back to common sense in our world. So
I agree.
That's
I
how
agree.
Yep.
I so agree with that one.
Note that a choice can be harder for people to make due to conditions in their life, but at the end of the day, it's still a choice. I could say that I had food addiction. I looked to food when I was stressed and this and that and this. And so it's harder for me to choose it than for someone who has like the perfect lifestyle, someone who has parents who are giving them this and that and this. But I definitely still acknowledge that it was my choice. At the end of the day, when I go there and I look and I see, should I order a second hamburger? I'm the one choosing whether or not I order that second hamburger. I'm the one making that choice.
I would rather be skinny than fat.
That's a good question. I would rather be skinny than fat. Where you at, Cellulite? I know you're in the chat 24/7, like you like the big girls. Ain't nobody hating.
Can we define skinny and what fat is in this?
That's a good one. When I hear skinny, I'm thinking like size 0, size 1, which could be scary for me to like, if you're choosing to go that small. I know some people that went that small. just because in their mind they thought that was like beautiful and more attractive. If I hear fat, I'm hearing like obese. But again, this is the wordplay with stuff, right? That's pretty much shout out for the catchy thumbnail. But that's pretty much what it is for me. I ain't gonna dive in no deeper. But yeah.
Like, are we talking about underweight versus overweight, or are we talking about?
Well, he just want to get a clarity.
That's what we're trying to. That's what we're trying to define, because they're about to have that argument of what it is too. Because
healthy.
Skinny
I think you need to be a healthy body, healthy weight.
If you look like a skeleton, then no. You can have just as many problems as the person with flesh on the bones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Martha, Marcus, if you want to, did she catch that or no?
Better question. Who's down with the thickness?
Oh, see, well, I'm
an equal opportunity employer, so I don't really care. Equal opportunity employer.
I was a double zero.
You want me to ask her?
Yeah. If she caught on to what the question was, and if
don't ask her if she's down with the thickness. That's rude.
Well, Disturbed, right? Shout out to Disturbed. Marta, otra vez te queremos preguntar este momento del tópico del stream, pero para ti, ¿qué consideras lo que es ser sobrepeso, mal de salud? ¿Cuál es tu definición o cuál es el estado generalmente de lo que es la definición de ser mal saludable? ¿O qué es más de sobrepeso en tu número o tu tipo de descripción que tú piensas que es?
Para mí, ¿qué es el sobrepeso? ¿O qué es que una persona esté? ¿Cómo cataloga yo una persona obesa? ¿Cómo así?
Sí. Sí.
Bueno, pues científicamente se dice que una persona que está en sobrepeso tiene el síndrome metabólico, ¿no? Tiene el síndrome metabólico porque dentro del síndrome metabólico todo está mal, absolutamente todo está mal, está con los triglicéridos altos, está con sobre todo triglicéridos, colesterol, entonces resistencia a la insulina, que la llamamos también ya diabetes, ¿verdad? Entonces yo usualmente me baso mucho en cuando veo una persona. No la veo desde el tema físico, del tema, ay, no, se ve fea, sino la veo desde el tema lástima, salud. O sea, cuando yo veo una persona obesa, yo siempre me estremezco porque sé de primera mano lo enferma que está, ¿sí? Entonces, y me lamento mucho, digo, si con todo lo que le duele no toma la decisión de hacer un cambio, ¿sí? Porque nadie puede ayudar a nadie que nadie quiere salir. O sea, yo puedo tener todas las intenciones, pero si tú no das el paso, nada va a pasar. Solamente la persona, ¿verdad? Entonces, pienso que una persona obesa para mí tiene síndrome metabólico, que está supremamente enfermo, no desde lo físico, sino desde la salud. Siento mucha misericordia y digo, está realmente enferma. Creo que para mí una parte importante de ver salud es el perímetro abdominal. Si una persona tiene el perímetro abdominal distensionada, inflada o salido de lo normal, está enferma y hay unas medidas y hay un rango para medir ese tema de salud fácilmente. Muchas personas consideran que la gente cuando muestra sus abdominales es por vanidad, pero la pregunta está en, si yo no tengo abdominales, ¿cómo está mi rango, mi perímetro abdominal que me muestra si yo estoy saludable? Eso es un indicador total para una persona decir, estoy o no estoy saludable.
Okay. So in the context of what she's saying that the way she defines it, she looks beyond the weight. The weight is overall an issue as well, that she says. But when she peels the layers back, it's when you see a person that is literally dealing with high blood pressure, hypertension, high cholesterol, diabetes, etc., so on and so forth, resistance to insulin, the fact that they have a slow metabolism, so on and so forth. And it's the mentality. It's also the mental issue that sometimes carries with these people, because sometimes they will have a defeated mindset. They will not want to try and push themselves. They may be very lethargic, very lazy. She mentioned the fact that, hey, the diaphragm, a lot of times you can tell by the diaphragm as well in the person's stomach, the gut area. That's one of the main indicators when you go get a checkup with the doctor. You see also the parameter of the issue as well. So also making sure you go and check yourself with the doctor, see what the test results say as well. That's what she was saying. So that all in retrospect, not only is she looking at the at the physical weight, which can be looked at as the vanity and the gluttony of it, which is an issue in itself already. But that's what she wanted to peel down the layers to.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
love
Anybody
that.
else want to
Me.
add any? Sure, go ahead.
Me.
Maybe we'll get to the video.
Thank you. I say that, and that's why I wanted to know, are we talking about underweight versus overweight or what? Because I have been underweight. So when my health issues and when I have massive flares, my weight drops too. The very first sign that something was really wrong was a lot of abdominal pain. And also I lost so much weight that like all my clothes was hanging off me in like in a few weeks. It was crazy. And soon I was 00 or extra small, and those types of clothes were baggy on me. Like it wasn't like they were super tight. And thinking about like I was like a size 2 in high school, you know, back when I used to try and stuff, and I was like, I never thought for a second I could ever get smaller. I'm 5'7", whatever. And I remember my friends of mine trying to say that they wish they could have my health issues, so they
I was
also see
going to say
my,
that because people from the outside looking in just like, oh, you're gorgeous, girl, and you like, no.
And they want to. Oh, I wish I could see my ribs. I wish I could see all my bones pointing out like that. And they didn't care if they were going to go through horrible illness, be rushed to the hospitals weekly. They didn't care about any of that if they could be super duper skinny, right? And it was just like, what? No, I would never. I would rather be right a little overweight than have to deal with what I was dealing with, right? In fact, if anything, if I were to pick me being 112 pounds versus 212 pounds, I was actually healthier and happier, more able to do stuff when I was 212 pounds. When I was 112 pounds, like that was literally 1 pound away from me being banned from flying. So I almost missed out on going to Jamaica this one time because I was that close to being too underweight. And like, I don't know why we equate thinness with health, because again, being underweight can have just as many health problems, if not more, than just being a little bit overweight. Right now, I'm not talking about super massively morbidly obese, right? Like I'm saying though, like
5 or 10 pounds.
Right. Or even like, honestly, even like 50 pounds. If you were 50 pounds overweight, when I was 50 pounds overweight, I was significantly more healthy than I was when I was 10 pounds underweight. Do you see what I'm saying? So I think it's a misnomer, unfortunately, that we have in society. So like, I get that it's a complication, but I'm like, no, weight, you could be underweight or overweight. Both could be very, very unhealthy. So yeah.
I think that's the problem. I'll get to the video. I think that's the problem with just people when they perceive one thing. Because I remember one guy, for me, I guess like you think like in shape, it's like they got to have the muscles, the abs. But this one guy at the gym, he had this crazy core, and he would just do a lot of stuff. And I'm looking like I got to train over and over to do that, and I'm slimmer than him. And I'm like, but if you look at me, look at him, it's like he just has it. I didn't. And I love that about most people. Like that motivated me more, just like, I got to keep trying. I got to, but I don't know. People just need to again, it's back to education, like all around the board. So I'll get back to the video. Never judge a book by a cover. Oh man.
Can the agreeers please step forward?
I think there's a lot of different struggles when it comes to being a bit bigger. And I have a sister that is she's 400 pounds and she struggles a lot. She has lymphedema, and to shower is really, really hard. So I do think for like an overall happy life and like zero struggle, I think I'd rather be skinny.
I think that it is common in society to want to be skinny. I think the average person typically wants to be skinny. I'm actually surprised that I didn't see more people come forward on that question. People treat you better. It is what is considered the standard of beauty. Your life expectancy is longer. You tend to be healthier.
I'm also really.
I just want to add this little insight, because when she said something she just said, and again, I'm still my life, my bubble, just the South, right? A lot of big women, a lot of big dudes. They love they love themselves. Like they don't care. I got big cousins, 7 feet tall. They go grab the chicken and all the foods. What they see, they grabbing. We had a a guest over here, E the Man. He's a big guy. He's 38. He's like, hey, he's not like he doesn't know, but he's like,
I'm gonna eat what I'm gonna eat.
Yeah, I'm successful. I'm successful in my life.
He's happy.
He's happy. So
He's
it's like, why
happy.
are you going to tell me something other than what it is? He doesn't feel any other the complications. He's good. A lot of people here in the South I know it's the same way. Like, look, grandmama, big mama, auntie, they cooking, events coming up. Oh, I'm definitely grabbing me a plate. There's nothing you can tell me about it. So for her to make that comment, that claim, it's like, again, more on the ignorant side of things, or you're seeing what you want to see. I think that's what it is. You're seeing what you want to see. So I'll just leave it like that.
Really tall. I'm 6'6", so I kind of wish I could just pick a single struggle, because finding clothes and things like that when you're bigger both ways can make it really hard. So if I was skinnier, at least that's one less thing I have to worry about. But also, I've got 2 kids and a wife, and I'm taking care of them. And as you pointed out, I definitely think that I'm at less health risks if I'm a skinnier person, if I'm a healthier person in that capacity. And I would much rather be that so that I could be around for my kids longer.
Can the disagreeers please step forward?
I'm speaking as someone who actually was a former smaller person, and I had the most body insecurities when I was small. I was constantly living in fear of gaining weight and having people tell me, oh, don't gain weight, don't do this, make sure that your weight is the same. And once I finally gained weight, I realized that, first off, life wasn't over. I didn't feel any need to not engage in life the previous way that I had, and the attention that I got was different. But even as a smaller person, you get negative attention. And rather than trying to control my body to avoid that negative attention, I would prefer to address the situation as a society, make it more accessible for everybody to where we aren't feeling like I have to be a certain way that's normal in order to be treated like a human being and respected.
If I could counter, because I was a bit bigger when I was younger, and that's when I was the most insecure. I would look in the mirror. I did have family members that were skinny, but then I had a family member that was much bigger. And just the way that I perceived myself, I hated it. And I even became anorexic to like not be big.
I don't think skinny always equates to being healthy.
Exactly.
I am fairly skinny. I'm 6'5". I'm 140 pounds last time I checked, and I'm severely underweight. And I know about this on a
You
daily
skinny,
basis.
honey.
That
You
being
weigh less
said,
than me.
I don't know where I'd want to lean at an appropriate weight level, but I think it's important to understand for some skinny people, we're not living a great life by any means. And sometimes I feel like that's always kind of lost in translation when they see someone who's really skinny.
I guess it depends on what you mean when you think of the term skinny. Are you thinking of just like an average weight person, or are you thinking of kind of how you are now?
I'm the average weight for like women in America.
I disagree with
Yeah,
that.
no, I don't think so.
If we're talking about an average, like I'm going to be the closest. If your biggest priority is to be in a smaller body, you need to reassess your priorities.
Yeah, not focused on health.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get back to the panel.
Oh gosh. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. It's an echo somewhere. Any thoughts thus far, Marcus? Unless because you have some other stuff translating, we'll give you a minute. Anybody has anything to add to what the guest said on the video?
Well, I think the man that has the children, I think he's woken up, and I think he's realizing that the weight that he's at is not healthy for him, and that he wants to make a change. I think the others that are kind of defending being overweight are defensive because they don't really want to change. And I think that she had a good point about why does society put a label on you have to look like this, you have to have this amount of weight, you have to, in order to be accepted and be considered beauty. The skinny girl on there that seems to think she's amazing. I personally, she's not average. She's little. She's very tiny. And I mean, I think that sometimes people that are smaller like that can come across, arrogant in a way. And I don't think that I don't think that's being receptive. But I do want to say this, that I think our society as a whole right now, and from what I've seen, just based off of the business that I've been in and body positivity and women's bodies in general, I have seen this major shift to big is better. Now, all of a sudden, we've gone from the skinny, Victoria's Secret model to, Lizzo and rocking the runway and everybody's, oh my God, you're amazing. You're beautiful. And it's like the more they eat, the bigger they get. They become this sensation on the internet, on social media, and they gain all these followers just for being big. And I mean, I have a client, Mustang Sally. She's huge. It's on Instagram. And I've made outfits for her. I've made underwear for her because they don't sell her size. And, and so I'm not critiquing, and I'm not saying you can't be that big, but I think we need to really be careful to not glorify any one particular size or color or race or religion or anything. We need to just accept people as humans. And we have to also say, you know what? You got to look at what's healthy. Okay, you might be 400 or 500 pounds, but what health issues do you have? Because I promise you, at 400 or 500 pounds, that person has health issues. They've got something. I haven't met anybody that didn't. So unless they're out there, but they're going to have something. They're either pre-diabetic, they've got joint issues, they got something. And so I think that, and the answer isn't Ozempic. I mean, my daughter wants to be on Ozempic. I'm like, you're not big. Like, what are you doing? We're all wanting this quick magic shot or pill. And I'm sorry, but it's not there. Ozempic's got side effects. People are taking it now and finding out. And then the people that have diabetes can't get it because everybody's trying to lose weight on it. I mean, it's crazy. We have to look at, why are we doing this? I had to get in the gym. I hate to work out. I absolutely hate it. I don't run unless I'm chased.
Okay, at least you're honest.
I'm honest. I mean, I'm serious, but I'm okay now that I'm starting to do it because I'm seeing the changes in my body, and it's helping with my stress, and it's actually aging me backwards. Like, I've never been in the shape that I'm in right now. And, I could have sat back and said, I don't exercise. I don't ever want to do that. I ache all over. I'm not going. But I made a choice. I make a choice every morning to get out of bed aching and stiff and hurting. I probably have fibromyalgia, but I'm not even going to go get a doctor to tell me it because I don't want to know. I believe that whatever I've got going on, I can fix this through food, diet, moving my body. And, and then if that doesn't work, then I'll go to the doctor and see what I can do. But if you look at the medications they're putting people on, the side effects that they don't even know long term, the side effects are going to kill you before the disease.
That's a fact.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Don't forget about hydroxycut had its issues too with people as well.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, explosive diarrhea. What was the that pill that everybody was taking? Or
that didn't happen with Blue Chew.
Something. And they had the grease stains on their pants. I remember because everybody wanted to do it, and I can't think of the name of it.
If you do, please let me know.
Yes, it was that. And my friend did it, and she was out in public, and I guess it leaked, and her pants had grease. I mean, it was a side effect because. And then all of a sudden, and then everybody's scared to take it. So, I mean, for good reason. But
right, go ahead, Wes. Do you have any?
Yes. So the larger man there came up and said he was talking about how he has a family. He wants to be more present for them. So he realized he had a motivation to pursue something better, to pursue a healthier lifestyle. And the people that came in afterwards to defend being horribly obese, they're just trying to justify them. They're trying to justify being unhealthy. And this is where the whole self-love and what do you call it? Body acceptance. I forget what it's called. That's where those movements really went wrong. You love yourself when you take yourself for a walk to get some good cardio and just get the blood moving. That's how you love yourself. You don't love yourself by sitting in your chair in the morning and eating a box of Twinkies or just continuing that unhealthy lifestyle because you're like, oh, this makes me feel good. I'm going to keep eating it, So and now and they've taken it to the point where it's not their fault that they're unhealthy. It's everybody else's fault for not accepting them that way. And the reason why we do have the societal standard is it all goes back to this is societal evolution. It's ingrained in this. It's ingrained in every creature in the animal kingdom. You don't mate with the unhealthy ones. You seek to reproduce with the healthy ones.
Yeah.
It's just that's not something that we're going to get around unless you got those perverse people that are like into feet and stuff like okay,
or fart jars,
belly button porn.
Yeah. Trying to fight Marcus got me triggered.
You went over it on your podcast.
I was gonna say that.
I'm layer.
I was gonna say that we actually
you better not be translating all this. You'll never come back.
Las jaras de what? I'm paying.
Yeah, go ahead, Marcus. See if you have anything to add to the conversation.
Yeah, Marta, ¿querías decir que ya te tienes que ir o tienes que disculparte por la noche o ya es muy tarde en Colombia ya?
What did you think about fart jars?
Yo estoy en Colombia, estoy en
West.
Chicago ahora mismo, pero sí tengo que organizar mi día para mañana. Entonces sí quería agradecerle a Angie la invitación. Me sentí muy honrada de estar aquí con los ponentes, así que muchísimas gracias por la invitación. De verdad, gracias. Y sí me tengo que retirar. Fue un honor escucharlos a todos, conocerlos y bueno, gracias.
Muy amable, Marta, y que Dios le bendiga, que la proteja allá con mujeres de Colombia muy guapas y adoradas. Muchas gracias y buenas noches.
Gracias. Que estén bien.
Shoot your shot.
Buenas noches. Quiet, Wes. Shut up. But as I was saying, as she was saying, she said she was very honored and thankful, Grey Pill, for you sharing the stage with her and just being a part of it. She loved it. She appreciated the compatriots she had here on the panel, the women and the gentlemen as well. And the next time she did have to get ready for tomorrow's next day. She is in another country right now, and she's just trying to get ready for her schedule for tomorrow. But she does appreciate it. She'd love to come back.
Oh, she's very welcome. She's more than welcome to come back. And again, this is her channel. Check her out. She's all about the fitness. Always stay on top. And I love her story that she just shared with us earlier. So if you go over there, show her some love, some respect.
Can you post the link to her channel in the chat?
Martha Fitness.
Martha Fitness.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's pretty much the main reason too, with Erica and Cynthia, because I know y'all have businesses. I know this is what y'all do, and it's pretty much a good opportunity which y'all three can just like collaborate or something, so y'all can help each other just on business level. If it's not just more the positivity of it all, so that'll help out also.
Absolutely.
All right.
Go shoot your shot, Wes.
Marcus, you're more than welcome to stay up for the conversation. So again, real talk, Marcus, thank you, because you was doing a lot. And Vega was give you a compliments in the chat saying, you got great memory. So quarter of that, it would just been out the window. And I screw up names all the time. So I'm good with faces. Names, no.
Yeah. No, I was feeling it a little because I was trying to keep with everybody and try to do the private chat and translate with her. And then, in the middle of it, just, being a mod too. So yeah, I appreciate it.
Good. Thank you. Anybody have anything to add to the conversation per the video, or we can move on straight back to the video?
I just want to say that I'm pro healthy versus not healthy.
Fair.
Because I can't go by weight.
Yeah.
So I mean,
can you explain that?
Before I put muscle on my body, I was very low weight, and until I put muscle on my body, I've put on more weight, and I don't want to talk about my weight because it's none of anybody's business.
Right.
But when you talk about BMI, because muscle weighs more than fat, you can take a 150-pound person and put them next to another 150-pound person. I'm just talking numbers, right? Just general numbers. that 150 pound person could be extremely lean and healthy, and the other 150-pound person could be extremely out of shape, not lean, and over fat. There's a name for that, skinny fat.
That's me. That was what I was.
So I'm pro healthy. If you know, whatever your weight is, and your labs look good, God bless you if your hormones are balanced. I'm going through the switch right now and it sucks. I'm getting my hormones back on check.
Awful.
So when everything is aligned, the body works beautifully. Beautifully. So I'm pro health.
Can I add after Erica, Grateful?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so that was a thing too. That was like an issue with me sometimes, and I was like in the military. Maybe Wes can contest to this, and even when I was in wrestling, we were divided by weight classes. So the thinner I got, the faster I got, but the more weight I gained or held, I was stronger. And so that's the unfortunate thing. When you're in the military, they're going to measure you by your height to weight ratio. So I was like a guy that was like 5'10", maybe 5'11" with Timberlands on, hopefully 6 foot. And then when I couldn't get there, I was like, okay, where can I fit around then? So our meeting was always in between the 5 to 10 pound limit bracket for my weight class. And that means that I still had to watch what I ate. I could still work out, but I had to work out not so much as heavy anymore. Now I had to watch what I ate. So I had to stay consistently eating healthy, unlike other people who were maybe taller, but maybe weighed a certain amount, or they were my height, but they didn't have as much muscle. When I realized I was like, my BMI index was saying that I was like 10% body fat, which means that's really good. But then I remember what my personal fitness coach taught me when I was in high school. He said, eat the greener the vegetable, the better. Your BMI index, make sure you don't go below a certain percentage of body fat, because your body's still gonna need some type of level of fat content within your body itself. And then also making sure, hey, you're working out right, you perfect the form, you get the form right, perfect. None of this ego lifting, which is one of the main rules I have when I used to work out and used to train people myself. No ego lifting. It's all about perfecting the form, getting the reps right, breathing. Don't hold your breath, because that's one of the things I could not stand staying in the gym. And for myself, don't hold your breath when you're working out and breathing that rep out. There's nothing that you're not going to look ridiculous. And if you think you're going to look ridiculous, we'll look ridiculous together working out. I don't care.
I agree with that, and I have to give, because I pretty much got that from Erica a little bit, because I'm a little bit nitpicky. I did one video. I was helping one woman coach do the work on her glutes, and I'm doing this little video. I'm like, yeah, I got the angles right. And Erica just came in like, hey, you got to watch the lineup and leg here, because this, that, third. And I was like, okay, thank you. I was like, well, the video going to stay there. I was like, let me go ahead and put the instructions in the description, but the video staying. And then I took that same lesson, and then Martha's one. It's weird, because if I see somebody do like a lift or power lift and they don't have like the back brace, I'm instantly in the comment like, where's the back support? Where's the back support?
The only time you don't really need it is when you know you're doing a weight light enough where it's fine and you're not going to really hurt yourself. You know, you can control yourself. But the thing that I couldn't stand when I see people hold their breath is, hey, now you wonder why people pass out or get hernias. You're putting too much weight and you're not getting the form right. So just simple things like that. Just take the time to look at the form, look at somebody else, ask them questions, ask a trainer, the guy that actually looks like they know what they're doing, or the woman that looks like they know what they're doing, you know?
I agree. All right.
Okay, honestly, I don't remember why I wanted to say this. I don't remember if it was from the video, from something someone else said, but it's in my mind ringing still. So I'm just going to say it really quickly, which is that literally nobody has ever lost weight and kept it off. No one has ever gotten super healthy from a place of self-hate. Nobody. In fact, that's normally when people turn to these really dangerous crash diets and that don't work, right? The people who have been able to make those lifestyle changes, it's a whole change. It's from self-love. So
love.
They have to find, so that means it doesn't matter what weight you are, whatever, what level of unhealthiness you're at, whatever it is, you have to find self-love and decide that you deserve things, right? And you deserve that love. You deserve better. You deserve to feed your body things that will really fuel it. You deserve whatever, right? You have to get to that place first for you to be able to make the positive changes. So I do think there's something to be said for, well, hey, if you know, someone's just surrounded by being constantly shamed and constantly told that they don't deserve anything, they don't deserve love, they don't deserve respect, they don't deserve humanship, yeah, it's almost going to be impossible for that person to make those positive changes. So, you know, I do think that there is something to be said for that. Like we do have to stop this like hate train. I think the bullying's terrible and whatever.
In the
right?
world. The whole world is hate right now. I have never in my life, and you know, and I've had, like I said, I've had a pretty rough year, and I've seen a lot of bad stuff happen this year. And I think the thing for me is I have finally learned to love myself this year. I never have. I was a product of sexual abuse as a child by 2 different family members. I was up and down. I was anorexic, then I was up, then I was big. And I mean, I never loved myself. I never liked the way I looked. I was never skinny enough, and I was never fat enough. I was the in-betweener where nobody got any love. I was overlooked. And I think that I have learned in this year in general, and I think a lot of other people are starting to see it because our world is so angry, is that we've got to get back to not only just loving who we are as a soul, not what the soul is, not the car, because our body is just the car for what's important, which is what's inside, which is our soul. Our souls never die. We're energy. This body will die. I can shoot it full of Botox. I can lose weight. I can do all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's aging. It's going to die. But what's not going to die is what's inside. And we have to get back to loving what's inside. I'm learning what I love about myself that I've not loved. I've so focused for most of my life on the external that I did not focus on the internal. And I think what, Ruby's saying is exactly right. When we start loving ourselves and who we are, we will start loving other people. And then that will start spreading. I have on my TikTok, I held a cardinal. I have this thing, birds come to me. And I posted on TikTok. I never get on TikTok. I don't even really know how to use it. I didn't think the video posted. But I had a cardinal in my hand, and it had hit my window right after I found out that my house wasn't selling. I had gotten really excited. I got really let down once again this year. And a cardinal hit the window. I walked outside. It was sitting there. I picked it up. I held it. I took it inside, made sure it was okay. Then I realized it was okay. So I went outside. It was too cold. Sat on the front porch with it for, I think, about 25 minutes. It sat in my hand. Didn't leave. Just sat there. And I had to film it because I'm like, nobody's going to believe me this is happening. Now, it's happened before, but I didn't film it all the time. So anyway, make a long story short, that TikTok blew up. It blew up. It's almost 500,000 views. It has 4,000 comments. It's got 70,000 likes. But what I love about it is that, number one, I didn't even know it posted. Number two, every comment, 4,000 comments, and I've read all of them. Everybody was so moved by it. They needed it. And I didn't even know that my voice was on there. I thought I had music. I'm not a tech person. So I'm sitting there, oh, sweet bird, I'm talking to it. And people are seeing angels in the clouds. They see a halo over the bird. I never even noticed any of that stuff. But what it's done is it's touched so many people. And everybody is like, oh, I needed this so bad right now. I'm hurting so bad. We needed this positive, this is amazing. What a blessing. What a miracle, and I have felt so good about it because something that I didn't, that's happened to me before. I have all different types of birds that this happens to. I didn't even think it was, special. And now I'm like, it's pretty freaking special, to have a wild bird sit on your hand and hang out with you while you FaceTimed your mother. Like, I mean, it hung out with me for like 20 minutes. And, and I just think that our world is craving that so bad, that love, that faith that, things are going to be okay. And I know that's getting away from the fat thing, but
no, but it just separates it. For me, it just separate the negative versus the positive.
Yes.
And, some of the stuff with depression, because a lot of people is so quick to jump toward the rah-rah and shenanigans, which is fine. And I tell people this too, if you're okay with being that and you're okay, just understand to separate the two. Like, hey, I'm here for the shenanigans. Okay, as long as you aware of it, I'm good with it. But if you're not aware of it and you're just there complaining about the negativity, and again, bringing it back to being overweight or what y'all saying, skinny fat.
Yeah.
If you're not unaware of it, then it becomes more problematic within itself. But then a lot of stuff we're saying before, and I'll just end up this because, like, I don't want to waste anybody's time. We did hit the 2-hour marker. Everybody can get their final thoughts of everything. Everything that y'all said is just only co-signing what I've been saying for the past few years since I've been doing podcasts. I've been on other platforms when people make these complaints and speak of these
hit 2K, 1K twice.
And these ridiculous absolutes when they speak on other people. You're literally projecting onto other people because it's you. It's not them. It's always you. If you ask a question, I'm big on just asking a question, but versus just coming in there and I give like a little light little excuse. Shout out to Flow State. Say, hey, our bodies are important. We've been saying that for like 2 hours. We've been saying so. He clearly came late. No shade to him. Came late. Take the time out. Pace yourself. Find out what's around your surroundings and then use that and move forward. But there's so many people out there. And I do believe, because I heard one conversation before, a lot of people say, hey, a lot of people gravitate toward the negative, toward the controversial stuff. And I would say that may be true. But at the same time, I also seen in media, like you said, example you just gave, people gravitate toward the positive too. It's just decide on what you're too lazy to go there, or if you just want to be stuck there. So, and I'll leave like
or
that. And I'll let it
scared. You're scared. I mean, the
That-
fear drives us. I mean, people they're scared to post something that was faith-filled for them or was a miracle to them because they're afraid of what people might say to them, But I think, we have to start this movement of kindness. We have to. And being good to each other, whether you're fat, you're skinny, doesn't matter. We're all humans. My car's just different than yours.
So there's 2 doctors that actually have sold their practices because they were so sick of standard of care. Standard of care means a lot of the healthcare things that we're talking about today. You go to the doctor, they give you a pill instead of necessarily trying to actually treat the problem. They're giving you the Band-Aid. They've created something called a Bundabox, which is free boxes. You can get it through a nonprofit, through a church. And what it does is it gives you individualized vitamins, numerous tests that people can't necessarily afford. It will give that person a phone with internet service so that they can get information. These 2 doctors that created a Bundabox are angels because they are creating health equity for people who don't have access to it.
Nice. That's good. All right, we'll leave it with final thoughts again. Cynthia, Martha, Erica, I appreciate everybody for coming. Definitely again, Marcus, kudos to you, man, for doing what you're doing. And like always, Ruby and Wes coming in for the conversation, like always. Every Tuesday, it's normally Tuesday, 8 o'clock. But again, this is on me, so I'm gonna take the responsibility on here because in the YouTube world, they all about the accountability. That's their whole talking point. So we had the conversation last week. That was going to be the original one, but I had Layden start inviting people last minute, so that's on me. And so these lovely ladies, the guests here, Cynthia, Erica, and Martha, decided, say, hey, we can do it next week Tuesday because we have stuff going on now. And I said, why not? So me, Wes, and Ruby had a whole vote. Like, hey, you know what? Let's find out another topic now, have the conversation, and then we'll push it back for this Tuesday. So thank you.
I'm so glad we did.
I'm so glad. Yeah, so glad. Because we'd have missed out a whole lot of gems.
Oh, yeah. This was a really great discussion. Like, I'm sure Erica is like, I hate this chick every time she talks. But no, like, honestly, I'm actually really happy for your opinion because I actually don't disagree with you overly much. I know I probably seem like I do, but I focus on the little nuanced points and then hammer at them. But no, I'm really happy for your perspective. So
no,
education's key. It's key.
And I don't
agree
disagree with you guys. Yeah, I don't disagree with really anyone because we all have an opinion. We all the idea is we all want people to be healthy. We want people to be healthy. That's what we
And
all agree
happy.
on, and that's why we're here.
Exactly.
All right, fair enough.
Thank you so much.
Anytime. Final thoughts, Cynthia. You can let us know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram under the Cynthia Decker and Breast Friends, and my TikTok is Cynthia Decker as well. So I'm pretty much out there. But I just, my final thought is, I just want to get back to treating people the way you want to be treated in life. I mean, the golden rule, to me, it holds true through everything. If we just treat somebody the way we want to be treated, our world would be a completely different place. There wouldn't be war, there wouldn't be killing, there wouldn't be fat shaming, skinny shaming. I just don't believe there would. And I want people to start looking at other people deeper than the surface. That's important to me.
Well said. Thank you. I'm gonna drop you and take care of Dad and the family.
Bye.
And we'll see you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Erica, final words. And again, thank you. Because you don't know, like low key, I've been echoing a lot of the positive stuff you say over time. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. No, I definitely got a little fired up with some of it, but that's what fuels my fire. And, that's one of the reasons why I got into my, the regenerative health concierge, is because there's a lot of it is still considered the wild, wild west of health. And there's so much misinformation out there. I mean, someone a couple weeks ago said that if a pregnant woman takes folic acid, she's going to have postpartum depression. When that doesn't make any sense at all, because prenatal vitamins are methylated, so they're actually getting folate, not folic acid. So there's so many lies that go out there, and it really upsets me. So I like to just speak facts, the truth, and back up my research. And you can find me on Instagram, Erica Brawner, IFBB Pro, and my website will be done very shortly.
No problem.
My new website.
Okay. Thank you. And we appreciate you very, very much. And you have a great and wonderful holiday.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you guys too. Thanks for having me.
Happy
holidays.
Nice meeting you.
Oh, my bad, Marcus. Jesus.
That's how you treat your majesty.
Damn, right. I just kick him off.
Boy, them fingers is quick.
I'm gonna divest.
I'm already divest. I'm becoming become Canadian. I'll be the thing that West hate the most.
Right? Yeah.
You're gonna be a Mountie? You're gonna be a Mountie?
Maple syrup covered Mountie.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I love the little jab he's doing there. Like, where are we going with this? Hey, let me read this real quick before we call that. So CJOJ said, do you believe that people's body have different set points? You covered that.
Yeah.
Lee says, appreciate Lee. She says, I jumped in late. I don't know how old she is, but I feel like when I was growing up, it was enforced in the schools, but now with my granddaughter, we can't even bring sugar into schools. That's a great school. I think if they're focusing on more healthy issues, and that's fine. Eileen,
what was enforced in schools when?
I guess it was something early in the conversation, and then she actually did a two-parter. She chimed in, so I guess she was talking about more like unhealthy foods was in schools versus now. So it's like less unhealthy foods and like more focus on just the healthy issues with schools. I don't know if it's elementary, high school, I don't know, but I guess she's saying the school now is like, being more focused on healthier dietary dishes for the kids. So that could be one. Shout out to Lee. Lee says, I jumped in late. I read that. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Eileen says, appreciate you. Eileen says, Unwell. I got to check that out. Unwell on Netflix touches on these topics really good. Okay. I'm going to really check that out. Shout out to Poppy. Poppy says, hey, Great Pill Podcast. Next time you get a person that speaks real Spanish, Mexicans speak the Walmart Great Value version of.
I ignored that comment. I ignored that comment for a reason, but it's all right.
So disrespectful.
You know where we at, sir. You know where we at.
Well, I know we ignored it.
Papi Blanca.
Yeah, our guest is going. Our guest is going now.
All this light skin hate, all the light skin slander.
Welcome to the Great Pill Podcast. Also, Poppy says, gotta read between the lines. The reason fat people is champion nowadays is because corporations are giving them fake confidence so they can continue buying food, which lead to wasting money on health. I can agree to that to the most part. But again, it's a choice. I agree that the most part. Again, it's a choice. But if you want to be delusional, by means, go do you. Rue said only way to permanently change your body is through permanent lifestyle changes. Every medication and operation is monetary and boundary lines, self-abuse. Did we cover that? I think we touched a little bit on most of that. Just changing your body lifestyle, permanent lifestyle changes, very medication. I agree with that.
Well, see, that actually though kind of addresses what I was going to say to Poppy's comment. Because
about the
a lot
Spanish.
of people don't no after the Spanish ignorance.
You got somebody to stick up for him. That's all that was.
You're right. But no, but I think here, like, the thing is, what we need to recognize is, why do corporations do anything that they do? And it's not to make people feel good. It's not to be able to exploit them, right? So after the government realized, oops, we believed the wrong scientists. Again, you should watch some of these documentaries online. You'll know what scientist I'm talking about, who told them, no, listen, the thing that's going to kill you is meat and fats. Fats is terrible. Don't do fats. Carbohydrates and sugars, that is the thing that's super healthy for you. And then they figured out that scientist was not only full of shit, but very wrong. But by then, the American government, had already invested all of their money into carbs, right? Grain and whatever, and it was too late now. So that's basically, in essence, now they have to figure out ways to continue pushing the agenda that they started back when they believed that they were doing the best thing for the people, because now it's about their money. And so Big Pharma is the same thing, right? They don't want people to lose weight permanently. That would be crazy. Then they would no longer have a market. So they want you to lose a little bit of weight. They want you to be a little bit successful. And then they want you to crash and burn really hard. So that way you need the next fad diet coming, the next pill, the next whatever, right? They don't want you to die. Right? They just want you to be really sick chronically for life. So they'll never cure diabetes. That would be crazy, right? Because then how would they ever make their money, right? So like that's really why they're championing this overweight epidemic, shall we say, right? Because number one, the government needs you to keep buying high fructose corn syrup products and grains and sugars in general, because that's where all their money's invested. And B, because Big Pharma really needs you to be really, really sick and nearly dead, but not actually dead, and also really invested in trying to change something you have no idea how to change. So they'll just keep buying their stuff. That's what I think. So yeah.
Fair enough. You agree, disagree, Wes?
I only caught about half of that.
Oh, whatever. you know you caught it all. Liar.
Must be the Georgia in him.
To some degree, there is a vested interest in creating more patients and creating more things to treat in these patients.
Mm-hmm.
Notice how I can do that in like 10 seconds?
Yo!
Wes back. I got you, Wes.
He just said less isn't always better.
I like your green. What? It's not a green screen, but whatever you're doing, every time you open your mouth, it looks like you got a grill.
I know. I don't know what it is. It's the green. It's the same thing as my shirt. My shirt was going see-through. I don't know why everything white today is going see-through. I think.
Can you put that shirt back on, please?
I'm still wearing it, but no, the shirt is see-through, but so is my chest. So you just see the wall. You don't see what's underneath the shirt. Yeah, I tried that. I was gonna try it and give GP some views, but it didn't work out. Sorry.
Didn't work out at all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this has like really been a good.
Oh, by the way, I translated what you said back there, Wes. I translated it. So I'm like, why is Wes speaking in Spanish? It's probably because he's being a
No,
you speak Spanish?
No.
Yeah.
Wes was using Google Translate, and then he was trying to talk smack to me in the freaking private chat. I was like, hell no, that's on.
Don't worry, Ruby will stop talking soon.
Yeah. I was like, then he called me up and I was like, get you, man.
You were talking shit to me, so I thought.
No, I didn't. You were picking on me, sir. I'm the victim. I'm the victim. My middle name is Victim. My middle name is Victim after talking to you, sir.
Marcus Victim, pendejo.
Yes. No.
Stay out. That was Marcus. That was Marcus' home spot to help out.
I was saved. That was my safe zone. I'm a survivor. Now I'm a fighter now.
Yeah, that was him all day. This man was on the I ain't gonna lie, I was like, why Marcus isn't even a chat? I'm like, yo, Marcus, stay on the chat. You good. Mark was doing everything. Mark was in the chat, welcome everybody. My man, when I say Marcus had like books of translations to Martha, he had it all in there. And I'm like, and he's conversating on the panel too, helping back and forth. I'm like, man, you stay out that chat, Wes. If that man need to translate,
that's what happens, Wes. Take notes. I'm high value, son.
Yeah, he had value tonight.
There you go.
He get no shade for me tonight. No shade at all.
I just wanted to add this too when it comes to the health industry and fitness and stuff. A lot of people will buy these supplements and stuff, but you got to make sure you do your homework on these supplements that you pick. Fact check it, source it.
They go by what they see, bro. Like, I agree. They go by what they see. Let's say, Mandrill, for example, right? I think Mandrill will have he does more food though, but he has some supplement. But I'm not gonna say he don't do his homework. But somebody will see a Mandrill the size of Mandrill, even yourself, and then they'll say, oh, well, I'll take supplements, and then they'll just run and go get supplements just because. Versus let me do the homework. Versus because again, our body type is different. Mandrill's body type is different. We might have the different diet habits or what goals that we're trying to have for ourselves. So it's like, why would I run and go get what y'all guys getting when that's not going to get me there? Like, I still have, like, you remember them big protein whatever? I got
the
like
jugs.
3 of them.
Yeah, the jugs.
Yeah, I still got 3 of those. Those things was like $100 when they first came. I still got like 3 of them. The only one I still was like the smaller one had like a little chocolate flavor, and I just want a little bit of it just for the flavor with the inside of it. But again, you still got to do your homework. What you just shoved down your stomach. But for just, and it's just like a little bit a tidbit for most people, just my smoothies. I'll have like the spinach and some selective fruits, and then I'll do the organic honey. I'm a sucker for honey, and then I'll just blend it up. And then if you want to just have that or types of milks, like I stopped drinking whole gallon milk for like years. So it's like one of them. And then a friend of mine, same thing like bread. One person like, yo, I don't eat bread. And I had to look into that. I'm like, okay, I don't eat bread neither. I might digest it like maybe once a month, soda. But again, it depends on what type of bread you get. And then if you like how Martha and every other ladies were saying on the panel, let's just say you're on a healthy diet for like lengthy period of times. And this happened to me. I was so focused on the healthy lifestyle for a long time. And I was like, man, I miss some fried chicken. I went and had a McDonald's burger. I felt so sick to my stomach. And I was like, but back in the day, I could use to digest a Big Mac for days. And then I'm like, this used to be the love of my life. And now just like, this is the most disgusting thing I ever had is reacting to me back.
You realize when it becomes pink ooze manufactured.
Oh, did you see the one with the quote unquote heated liquid lava that was poured on the Big Mac and it never burnt? Did you see that?
I seen when roaches don't even want to eat that, or rats don't even eat that. That's what's great. That's what's on the red flag, yo. Like I said earlier, if you can dip a car part into your Coca-Cola, it's best not to drink it for the most part, please.
Yeah.
It's just because that's crazy, like that. I'm just seeing that in itself.
And
go
ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, I just want to
I urge people just look up videos about Coca-Cola. Like, this got a lot of properties. I ain't saying don't digest it. Like you said, cleaning rust off a battery, rust off the metal parts of a car. You can actually use it for a spray for your plants. Like if you're trying to detract bugs or insects away from your plants, the Coke itself has a lot of good properties to be used around the cars in the house, but not to drink.
No, well, just when it comes to that stuff, because people don't understand too. If you're depending on these supplements too damn much, it can crystallize your organs, and it can develop such things like there's a fighter, George St. Pierre, one of the guys I looked up to when I was watching the sport. He has something called enterocolitis. Ruby knows about it. You know, he's from Canada. He's French Canadian. You know, don't you know? You know, hey.
Don't you know it's not Canadian?
Whatever.
Working West up.
Whatever. But
Working West
but yeah,
up.
I kind of I know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to be a little petty. Just don't want the Majin Buu Vegeta. But you know, it is what it is.
Don't worry,
But
West be in there sneaking around with one joke you come out with.
yeah, no, but you know, just using him as an example, he's really fit, super fit, but it came at a cost too because of the fight industry that he was in and the shape he had to stay in, but also the fact of what he was taking, and it ended up, you know, hurting him, you know, crystallizing the organs, and it's just a shame because I've seen people that it happened to that were really fit, or they were trying to take these supplements going down that rabbit hole. And maybe they didn't get fully prescribed to the doctors, to his like personal fitness doctors or something like that. You know, there's a YouTube channel like I watched before, even when I was younger. But one that I started even midway, I was like, more plates, more dates. MPMD, and he's a great knowledgeable guy. Does his homework. He does everything from high celebrities of what they do, what they take, to serious signs of gynecomastia, to certain issues you have in certain injuries and stuff like that. Whatever, even the rating of the scale, or even going down the fact checking and the sources of what it contains in these supplements, what they have in them, the elements, all that stuff, even to a scientific level, and see what they can happen in the long run as well. Because you got to understand too, you got to cycle it. Like don't be so codependent on taking this. Because y'all remember that one thing that was called was C4. Everybody would take C4, and that was like the main thing. I mean, I with myself, I'm not a victim, but I did choose it. So I got to be accountable for myself. I did take it on my own validity. But also, I remember even in high school, they used to have this thing that was banned now in the U.S., which is called Jack. And Jack 3D. It made you want to go crazy and go ballistic and hurt somebody. Like, that's how bad it was. And, you know, we used to take it for football and even for, like, working out and stuff like that.
It's only one video. Like I was trying to find like a healthy way to build up my immune system, like vitamin C and stuff like that. So I'll just have like one selective fruit or something for vitamin C. And I had this bad cold, and I had found this video where this one person was explaining that was like the mango, garlic, fresh garlic, some fresh herbs, mint leaves in there, and just blend it all up, and it looked like this little kind of whatever. Half of a grapefruit, half of a tangerine, and blend it all together, even with the skin, and it came out as like this little nice little gel. Man, I had 1 cup of that, cleared me up like in a day or two, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. And that was like that's always been my go-to for us, like when I have colds and stuff like that. I still have like a full bottle of NyQuil. I just be very careful what I digest for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's like all that stuff is definitely like very handy to use, and to make it a habit more, using like the herbs and stuff. Other things too is like watching the plastic. It's not what's inside the pill. It's you absorbing the plastic when you digest it. That is hurtful and harmful to you. Let's see, for example, I used to take these green tea fat burner pills. Something when I would drink with a coffee, straight black coffee, drinking in the morning. But the context is to open the capsule or what's in it. Don't drink the plastic. Don't swallow the plastic, because that is actually what harms you.
Yeah.
And so the green tea component
capsules
is
are not supposed to be made out of plastic, right?
or whatever.
Yeah, not supposed to. Yeah,
we're not supposed to. But a lot of that stuff, I don't want to say it's. I'm going to use the term adjacent because we use the red pill adjacent, but it's plastic adjacent, I guess, or in that term of that context, that texture. That's what it felt like. It felt like that, Ruby.
Well, I'm just saying that if you
in Canada, I know you want to wrap your ham and your turkey and your Canadian bacon, and you want to use all that maple syrup. All right, we get it. But I just want to say,
but not really though. In real life, though, for real, most capsules are made out of some type of like cellulose, which is very digestible. And if it's not, and then there's a problem with like the whole brand, and you probably shouldn't be taking anything they're giving you, because that means the filler that they're using, everything they're using is probably not necessarily good for human consumption. So I'm just saying, if you are having a major issue because of the capsule, it's probably overall a trash brand you shouldn't be using.
Well, he did say he learned from it. So
yeah,
there you go.
I did learn.
Don't
There's natural
take the stuff from the
yeah, and
bad
there's
stuff,
people,
though.
yeah, and there's people again all around because pretty much everybody's saying like just do the homework and like education. So there's even a one somebody was making like homemade, well, they're making homemade caps. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like leaning to more like toward a specific parts of what your the digestive with your body. I forgot, but I don't know if the capsule was actually plastic. Now that's something you have to look into for that one because that was homemade. That was a homemade capsule. But yeah, Willie, final thoughts. So final thoughts, Marcus, Wes, Ruby, and again, appreciate everybody for coming on through for the conversation. For me, this was like a great one because one of my old fitness mentors, Cynthia from 90 Day Fiance, Pillow Talk, and a fitness. I'm calling her a fitness instructor from Instagram. All I see her do is just stay focused on her goals all the time. And Erica's always just like, Rube with the education, like, hey, let me just go with the facts. Let me do the homework. Let me come into research and anything else. So, and it's good that everybody was sharing all this together because a lot of stuff they were sharing, I didn't know at least half of that. I just know the basics of it. And that's pretty much what I like to present to everybody. There's more than what I know, and that's pretty much the perfect message. Everybody don't know everything. So, Marcus, final thoughts, good sir.
This was a very, very good stream, to say the least. I appreciate Ruby. I'll be that not news.
Bro.
Shout out to Wes. I'm just kidding.
Hater.
Wes, appreciate you. I not like I said, thankful for Grey Pill introducing Miss. I don't want to mess up her last name, Mrs. Decker.
Mm-hmm.
And then also Erica, IFBB Pro, and then also Martha. So I just appreciate that. I appreciate the conversation. It was very good, very balanced. Even if we had moments where people disagreed, aka Ruby disagreed with anybody on the panel,
Dang.
Yeah.
That's her niche. But go ahead.
but we still. But I like it too because it's like I don't want to be in a room full of yes people or just like go along with the full thing. It's important to have it in a respectful, civil way. Just the people in the chat, people that come support, and all communities. This isn't just one community. It's all mixed into one melting pot of people with different perspectives and lives. So great channel, great show. Appreciate y'all. Go follow and subscribe and support everybody that was on here and will watch the replay.
All right, appreciate you, Marcus.
Love it. And thank you again for your translating because I'm telling you, man,
Yeah,
I don't understand one word of Spanish, so that would have been.
That's why I got the little CC on the thing, and I'll make sure all that be added up for later, so y'all can go definitely check it out on the replay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Because it was one thing somebody asked an ignorant question like, Marcus, is that your cousin? I'm like, why would you even ask that?
What?
I was like, why would I had to bring Marcus on that one because I'm talking about. I'm like, why would they even ask that? Like, Marcus, that's your That's like if I bring another black person, that's my dad or is that my brother? That don't make any sense.
No, they do that though.
I know they do.
That's so tragic.
All right, drop Marcus back down. I was talking about him.
Or like office. We had a commercial because people used to do that all the time. Oh, you're from Canada? Oh, I met this girl once at a concert. Her name was Maria. She worked at an office. All right, and then the thing was like, oh, Office Maria? Yeah, she died. And then just like walk away. Because like what a stupid thing, because we're Canadian. Like it's just like
I left from
because you're Hispanic. It's ridiculous.
I left from Jersey, came to visit my grandmother when I was in my high school, I think 14. And the fact that I was from Jersey, the lady was like, oh, you're from Jersey? So do you know something? I'm like, I know Jersey is a small state, but it's a lot of people in that state. I don't know everybody. Oh, you don't know? I don't. Why would you? Again, that's a dumb question to ask. Enjoy the conversation. He's translating. It's literally in his name.
The ignorance of it all, right?
Yeah. He did it on purpose. I didn't even ask him to do it. I was going to ask him, hey, put my logo here so it just calls the trailer. He literally put up there Marcus GP interpreter. You see everything. You can hear everything else, but don't see this. Even when a person like, hey, what's the topic about? It's in the thumbnail. It's got the title in the thumbnail. It got the title in the description, but somehow nobody don't understand. So what's the basis of it? We're trying to sound articulate at the same time. Just sit there for a minute, process the thumbnail, process the topic. You actually got questions in the description. You actually got questions in there. sit there and watch a little bit and digest in the conversation. Great. But man, oh man, oh man. The silliest question ever. Is that your cousin?
I would have said yes.
I got a lot low key. I
Bullshit.
don't know if I have to go back and check. In my head, I'm like, Marcus, don't even respond to that. Don't even respond to it. Let me, if I catch it later on, let me just address it. Because that was like the most dumbest thing ever.
Maybe he was just talking trash.
No, they were serious. Trust me, man. Ruby seen some space. People will act like the ridiculous stuff, like out the blue.
Okay.
Out the blue.
It happens. Unless it's a friend of yours, it's most likely.
And again, I look good. 50% of people come on this platform, they don't even know if they know me or not. Like, but at least good. Everybody, half the people that have been on the platform, I actually know. They don't even know that I know. It's none of their business. Like, we have conversations. We don't say, like, because I know you hear this a lot, Ruby. If a person they seen from another platform, they come over there and it's supposed to be about the conversation, like, yeah, go ask Henry. Henry, no, I was on that platform with another day. We was talking about this, like, but the topic today is about green eggs and ham. Who cares about what Willie said?
Right.
Talk about what's now. It's like,
I can't even. I'm so happy to be out of those spaces. I don't go at all. If you notice you don't see me anywhere, I'm done. I'm like, nope. It's beyond me now.
Me and other content creators in Discord, I was asking about their YouTube resolution. That's going to be one. I'm pretty much going to just line it up where while I'm telling Lady Navor, we're not changing a lot, but it's going to change a little. Just for me personally, I'm sticking to selective content creators. I'm pretty much, because a few of them already just said, like, hey, because I like underdogs, in those spaces that, hey, they started out and they got bigger, and I'm very happy and proud of where they became. So I reached out to a few, like, hey, man, or woman, I'm glad everything worked out for you. This is the end for me. I might pop in the clouds now and then, but it won't be consistent. And I've been always slowly falling back from that. But I respect, because I've done my little thank yous, like when you get your first 1K, tag everybody, even the ones that didn't like me and I was on their platforms. Hey, appreciate you, man. I'm out. Now it's gonna be another transition. Hey, appreciate everybody. I'm out. So
that's what I'm known for. People who've known me the whole, like you said, like Don TZ commented on my channel, like the very first video. Actually, Don TZ was the person who was helping, because I'm autistic and I don't necessarily understand social things. Like, so I don't know what makes something good or bad to other people. So I had to recruit someone to tell me. And so I recruited Don TZ to tell me. So like, he's literally from day one been commenting, but like, I've known a lot of people for a long time, and people know that that's what I used to do. If your channel was really small, I would show up. I'll jump on your panels. I'll be 100% support. And then once I've helped you build your channel to a certain place where you're good, you're riding it out now, you get it. You've got a bunch of people jumping on your panels now also and stuff. I'll just fade into the distance, because like, I don't really want to.
Yeah,
Marcus, I don't really want to be on a bigger show or like get someone to like big me up. This is
So what happens when TheGreyPill gets big?
I'm paying her.
Yeah,
I'm paying Marcus. I'm paying her. Me and Marcus actually had a long. Me and Marcus. It better if it was me, Marcus, and Poppy and somebody else. But then me and Ruby always like been in a distant cloud, just had like casual conversations. But it never been a plan. I'm like, hey, Ruby, I want you on to let it be a co. It was just like casual. Hey, I would love that Ruby on as a panelist. That was just how it went, and somehow it just magically just worked the way it worked. And I said, oh, this is gravy. Yeah. That was it. Because everybody, for some reason, on her end. But before I get fast forward, me and Poppy had a plan. Because Poppy had like this great platform plan, not like Fresh and Fit, but he already knew the dynamic of what the rah-rah people like. And it was the plan he had was gravy. And I was like, bro, if you got it, because I know he got the money. I said, yo, you just set me up. I'll do all the tech work. It'd be like the playbacks, but a little more of the raunchy side of it. And I'll do all the tech work in the back. He's gonna have everything set up. It was gonna be nice. Marcus from the beginning always been like a mod. He's always been that guy that I like. He does what I'm doing for everybody else. And if he finds information for people, because he know like, hey, I can't talk about it or other people can't touch it, he'll just send the information to them. And that's what I've been for other people that I'm like, oh, they're a cool little channel, they're growing, or they're coming up, or I see little stuff, and I'll just send them for like, hey, what about this? What do you think about that? Or Do Better is one. Do Better, I think I was like a little bit higher than him in the sub count, but he had the time to actually grind and do it. And that's the thing that a lot of content creators tell people, like, if you got the time, you can tell the people actually got the time. Do Better, Poor Man's Podcast is one, even Fatty. A lot of people don't like him for some reason. They go back and forth for their opinions of him, and that's fine. But as a content creator, like Angry Man, Duke the Dawn, a lot of these guys, they have the time to put that real grind in, and it shows their results coming forward. So it's like you can't even argue with that. So that was it. So Mark has just always been that guy. And I made a joke one time, but I was serious. Like, look, if this actually goes somewhere and blows up, for us like a quote unquote panel in the house, whatever, I would love to pay for him to come over, just have like a casual conversation. Him, Ruby, one time Papa Blanco, just shoot the shit for one.
Yeah, but
night.
see, but we had that discussion. We actually had the discussion about, like, and I said the same thing. When I'll Be That News gets big enough that we can pay people, we're gonna pay people. Hey, we want you to do a spot. You know, what kind of news do you want to do? Do you want to do comedy or something? We need a spot, so you can fill some spot for us. We'll pay you for it. Like, and so we talked about that from the very beginning, because it was like, hey, like, you know, we could have something that's mutually beneficial here, where we're advertising each other's thing right now.
It builds like that's how it's supposed to be. It builds like that. So
Exactly.
it's just like what, and I even argue with people about when I see other spaces that argue with each other, like the 1K, 2K guys. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense for us to argue each other, because we're not really eating like that. We're still in that small little bubble. Like if we got, like, your niche is different mine, but it branches off another one, but it still links to a different way. So it's like, hey, if mine come up, yours coming up, and we're branching out somewhere else, we come back together like, oh, you know what? I got a guest perfect for you. Let me go get Ruby for you. Okay, bet. Ruby go over there because the Great Podcast Network over here, come back. She get her exposure, come back to I'll Be That News, extra subscribers, extra viewers, extra whatever. So that's pretty much how it's supposed to go. But a lot of people don't do that. They'll do the let me circle jerk and talk about West talk about Ruby talk about Grey Pill, then just go round the robin. You're not really eating nowhere like that. And it doesn't really last, because for me personally, when you're doing the networking and marketing in such a way, like other platforms we've seen, Albert and Preach, Do Better is one of them, Lead Attorneys, another guy, just to name a few, other people that's not in YouTube reach out to from the outside looking in and say, hey, I like what you do. I would like to pay for you to come over here as a guest, and just take it from there.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And I think this is the first time in my life, honestly, like, I didn't really try to build my channel, like the classic Ruby channel. I didn't try to build that per se, but this is the first time with I'll Be That News I'm actually actively trying to build my own thing that belongs to me. So it's a very different mindset I have now, whereas in before it'd be like, oh, I'll just commit myself to Grey Pill for a little while, and then once he's doing well and he's taken off, then bye. But like, no, now it's different, because now I'm investing in building my own thing. So everything I see, like, it's like, oh, this is now an association I'm building. So that way, when I get big and he gets big, now we have, you know, a built-in association of, you know, medium, and then medium large, and then large channels, you know, because we came up with each other from, you know, when we were smaller. So that's how I
Lee said no pro contract. No. I had, you know what? It was I kind of low-key want to have that conversation, because somebody mentioned it. I don't know. Pearl's like the only trigger for me.
She's gone now. Did you hear that? I heard that she's actually gone.
I follow Tree a lot, and she's just been on her behind. In between her and O'Shea, the only two consistently on Pearl behind all the time from the very beginning. She just started acting silly, and the fact that she tried to go on this conservative grift, and Tree's pretty much on that side, she's like, oh hell no. She just like no. And I learned a lot more about Pearl on the Twitter side versus what everybody just see on the YouTube side. So now I'm branching out more, I'm learning more. So thanks to Lee, thanks to oh my god, I can't who's the other one? It's definitely Lee, and it's somebody else, and I'm screwing up. Oh, Lily. That's Lily from Tree Side. So thanks to them too. That like everybody collectively, even me and you from the beginning when we was telling people about this chick and nobody would listen. Now collectively over time, everybody's like coming together, and now I'm like sitting there like, it's been a long time coming, but I appreciate it. So I don't know what to do with myself no more. So I'm like, well, time to keep the train going in a different way. Pearl less and less out of it, so I'm good. But no, no contracts with Pearl. But I actually was gonna have a conversation. I thought about having a conversation about that because somebody said they reviewed the interview with her and Anton, and it was like, yeah, her contract was like good, and I was like, no. And then I said, did you hear all the other stuff everybody was saying that like the people that was on her team or she whatever Richie's and everybody else was saying about the contract, even Sarah Garvey, it was different than what she was saying. And two, she had different other conversations about the contract. Stuff didn't add up. So unless we actually physically saw the contract, it's not because
King Richards just quit, right? So
now he's reborn. I forgot to update. He's reborn now. He's reborn.
Oh,
he went the first week. The first one was girlfriend broke up with me for 2 weeks. Girlfriend broke up with me. Then he went, I quit. And then he came back with the reborn. But it's weird. So if he have a sad moment, he got the shades on. If he hyped up, want to talk to smack, he got the shades off, and everybody's a bruv and all this stuff. So yeah, no contract here. Lee, no contracts here. It's bad enough YouTube's already, which again, you can make good money off YouTube, but if you're taking the 30% cut off and then my 70%, and then you're going to take another cut out the 70%, I'm like, whoa, so that means I got to work harder? Nah, I'm not signing that. That's crazy.
You hear what TYT's doing to people? I mean, the black guy that just left, I can't remember his name, but he did like one of those, hey, this is why I left kind of things. And then you get to really see what their setup is. So like people technically had a salary, but the way that they were doing all of their on-air personalities have to like produce all of their own things. And then it's on them to tag it and to do the thumbnails and to do everything, but the editing and whatever. And then it's their fault whether or not, you know, they fail or not. But it doesn't matter if TYT actually helped you and gave some advertising to your spot or to whatever. Like it's really interesting. Like people don't really know
because they start off from the ground up. Like
TYT, yeah, but TYT's been around for a very long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like what they'll do now, so that way they'll get people and say, hey, you've got a channel of your own, right? Hey, come, we'll hire you, right? So now you do have an employment here, but you're responsible to make your own content. So you have to film your own content, edit your own content. You've got to put out like on their channel, right? You've got to put out your own thumbnails. You got to do all your own SEO, everything like that. And then if you get less than 100K views, right, you're going to get punished and eventually lose your job, right? It's not TYT's job to do anything. So in essence, they have a bunch of independent contractors, right, doing all of their content for them, all of their content.
That's worse than Pearl. At least unless you're black, Pearl will hold on to you a little bit longer.
And at least she'll do the work for you.
Yeah.
Like, sit here and take, don't worry, we'll edit, we'll do all of that for you. You know what I mean? So at least it's a little bit of mindless work. Like, no, TYT puts you all to work and you're releasing it on their content. And then God forbid you don't get six figure views or more. Right? It's something.
Man.
People don't really know.
That's really, man, they changed a lot. All right, Wes, final thoughts, good sir. Appreciate you.
Angeles, thank you for having me here. Last 45 minutes of that conversation seemed to be a bit off topic.
It was. Welcome to Great Pill Podcast, sir.
Marcus, it was so great seeing you again. I know we haven't seen you in a while, so it's great to talk to you again. Ruby, I'm glad you finally you're doing some branding. You got your Ruby suit on. There we go. But in closing, for the vast majority of people, being grossly overweight or being incredibly underweight, these are choices. It takes a little bit of education, a little bit of desire to be educated, to learn some good things, or to just talk to people that know things, or talk to people that and bounce off different ideas, and just learn how to actually love yourself, forgive yourself for the things that you don't like, and deal with the emotions that are keeping you where you are. But I'm getting ready to pass out. So have a great night, everyone. It was a great conversation with everyone.
All right, appreciate you, man.
Night.
Night.
I got a lot of low key. I thought he was gonna plug into like a Canadian joke.
Right? I'm waiting for it.
I had my finger on the trigger.
Like, he was that tired. He's like, what the hell? Why am I still awake? We were done this conversation like half an hour ago. I feel like
early this time. He should be happy. He should be a happy little camper now. I know last time we did a stream with the what's his name? JP the Angry Ginger. He commented, he said, 13 minutes in, Wes is yarning. I was like, exactly, but he tired the hour after. But
Mhm.
yeah, but I appreciate everybody for coming through. Us, so Vega, Alicia been up
Yeah, it
here.
was nice to see Vega. I haven't seen Vega in a really long time.
Yeah,
So
Vega be like in her little spots. Well, mostly always do. Cause then LT, I spoke in her high regards for her over there. Cause I was like, oh, she's I see selected people that's a mod from Duke. Like, make her a mod too. She does her job well. She don't abuse her mod privileges. Heck, I don't even think she ever. I don't even think she ever timed or blocked anybody at all. She just be a chat person for as a mod, and that's it. I think.
no, I mean, she does work. I mean, well, back when I used to be mod, now I don't know what the hell anyone's doing, right? But when I
Everybody's
was a
chill.
mod on Duke's channel, she did do mod work, and like if someone was being a pest or whatever, right? So
Yeah, for Icy, I'm saying for just everything else except for the timeout or blocking. Anything else, Duke pretty much like, yo, if you sounding crazy, hit the panel, we'll talk about it. And I'm like, okay, not me. I'll time you out. You get 1-1. After that, I'm kick you off, and it's done. It's done. Or my mods will just speak to him like, yo, this is not even part of the conversation, so why even here? So
true.
that's pretty much it.
I love
All
how
right,
many
man.
Canadians we had in the chat today. CJ,
I know. I'm
okay?
gonna set Wes up one day. I was thinking about this all week. I'm gonna
Big
set Wes
D.
up. I'm gonna have all Canadians on the panel and just him.
No, that would be amazing. He'll love it. I'm pretty.
But I'm not gonna tell him though. I'm just gonna let them they shoot the jokes and just let everybody like, hey, I'm Canadian. I'm
Right?
Canadian too.
It can't be Neve though, because Neve is like too unbothered by it all. So no,
Yeah, but
like
she's like weird precisions with it. Like she just do the unbothered phase and then she just shoot you one. I'm like,
that's
okay.
true. Okay, yeah. Well, he'll know that there's two Canadians. Just surprise him with
Oh
the
no,
rest.
trust me. I sent you a link because you did throw it in my face last time, so I did send you a link. So there's one right here, Harley Dad, Big D's Canadian. So he sent the link for Harley's new channel. But the main one, the Vix, their channel, they'll do like their little trivia nights, like around like 10 or 11. Then after that, they'll do like late night streams, and they're pretty chill. So like I did it a few times because sometimes they get burnt out for doing late night streams. I'm like, hey, I got nothing to do. I'll drop a thumbnail and everybody just come over here and we'll just chop it up for like a couple hours and then boom, everybody go home. But they real chill, love them. Just hit over there, say, hey,
I did see the link. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, I saw it too late. So like
that's fine. They're always
live.
because I know you're a night owl like I am. So they pretty much up late nights and you'll find like another one connecting them. And Inky. So Inky she's a night owl herself, so she'll just do her thing and she's slowly following the conversation niche for her side, and she just like do a late night one. If she do midday stuff, it might be like gaming stuff like that. So, but that she's been on point with her little conversation topics. So, just don't overwhelm her because she just like she's learned as she goes. I just be in the chat and do my conversation. So it'd be her, another guy, then sometime another lady comes on. They'll just have their casual conversation. So, and that's it. But Vic BC for me is like this source. Then League of Tournament's another one, but I don't think he's Canadian though. But everybody's in that little circle space. And then of course your favorite Traveling Fools. He has his little thing for late nights, and they just pretty much just do a whole bunch of tomfoolery when they actually do stuff. So, but yeah, that's the main one. That's my little secret hiding space I go to chill from time to time.
We'll definitely go there to chill. I guess I should do my final thoughts though.
Yes, we should.
Yeah. Okay. So first thing I'm going to add to the mix about two things. One thing would be about the soda pops. Everyone's talking about how, can clean the rust off your car and stuff. True. Also, though, what a lot of people don't realize is when they're doing the pop thing, they're like, okay, we got to get rid of pop to try to lose weight. And so what they do is they switch over to 0 sugar, 0 calorie pop. And they think they're doing something good for themselves. And you're actually doing something very harmful. The reason why is because sugar, your body processes sugar like it's a drug, like heroin or something, okay? So everything about the pop is exactly the same as the sugar pop, right? Like you open it, it goes tss, right? And then you pour it and it fizzes and then it touches your tongue. You smell it, you taste it. The feel, everything about it is exactly the same as all sugar pop, right? And so what happens is your body starts preparing for this massive deluge of sugar it's thinking it's going to get. It starts preparing from before you've even taken a sip, right? It's the same way how this is why drug tolerance happens. It's because your body starts preparing to fight to the poison before you've even put it in your body, right? Because you're like, okay, these are the things you do before you touch the drug, right? And so the same thing happens with pop. So now you're taking this 0-calorie pop. You're like, well, yeah, okay, it's fine. I didn't consume any calories here. 0 calories, 0 sugar. But what happens is your body has flooded itself with insulin because it thinks it's about to get shot, right? And so when it doesn't, now you get a huge slump. Okay, so now your blood sugar is super low. Okay, and your brain is going to say, oh my God, well, what do I do? What do I do? Okay, I'm going to go and binge on sugar because it's trying to balance itself out. And this is where then you'll end up binging on sugars, carbohydrates, things like that to try to fix your blood sugar because of and you're going to do this to yourself, and it's going to happen every single time. And so you could actually end up gaining weight from starting to drink these 0-calorie, 0-sugar pops. So just don't do it. If you're going to drink pop, you might as well drink a regular one. Really, I'm not even kidding. And that's something that people don't recognize. This is where we get to this concept of ignorance again, right? Don't eat butter. Don't eat butter. Eat margarine. Did you guys know margarine is literally 1 molecule away? 1. And it's like 30 molecules, okay? 1 molecule away from being plastic. I'm not kidding. If you line up plastic and margarine side by side, they are literally the exact same except for the very last molecule. Okay.
Wow, that's
so
crazy.
Yeah. So it's not better to eat margarine, right? It's much better for you to just put some butter on your bread if you're going to eat some butter and bread. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is where a lot of the ignorance is coming in, is that a lot of us are being told, oh, this is better for you. This is better for you. Aspartame is better for you. This is better. And none of it's better for you, right? None of it is really helping you. None of it's helping you avoid anything. None of it's addressing most of the big issues, so on and so forth. And that's why when I lost weight, I told you guys I lost 6 dress sizes in 6 weeks. I actually, after that, I came up with what I called the skinny girl diet. It's the early 2000s, so whatever. But a lot of this information was in the skinny girl diet, including a lot of like the logic. What I did was I watched skinny people around me. And I'm like, a lot of them eat like crap, right? Well, why are they all thin? And I realized that there's a bunch of things that they just naturally do that I don't naturally do. And it was actually almost revolutionary. I remember literally at the time, we'll say a personal shopper. And so I was helping a lot of people, and people were losing weight and didn't even realize that they could lose weight. I'm not even kidding. And so it goes to show you that, yeah, a little bit of help, a little bit of nudging in the right direction for people who really just don't know what went wrong can definitely be helpful. But let's not get it twisted. This is now almost 20 years later. And 20 years later, people know a lot of this information. Maybe not the margarine thing and the pop thing, right? But people know now that food has calories in, calories out. You're supposed to read the labels. They know a lot of this information, and they say, who cares? It tastes better. Who cares? Who cares? I've always been fat, so who cares? You can't make fun of me anymore because fat acceptance. Who cares? Because body positivity. Who cares? And that is the thing that I'm combating, right? I'm not combating old school messages because I've seen it's changed a lot in 20 years. I'm combating this who cares, dysfunctional, fat acceptance, fat positivity message that's out there that's really preventing people from doing what they know that they should do, and doing things that is better for their health, their heart, and whatever in general, just because, you know what, there's a bunch of activists who are lazy and want to justify themselves and want you to do whatever they're doing so that way they can feel just in doing it also. So that's probably where a lot of the differences, say, between me and Erica came in, right? But I think that, overall, I really appreciated the messages of everybody. Obviously I really agreed with Cynthia. We almost agreed like wholeheartedly, hand in hand. Right. But like, that's where I will say that for those of us who are in these spaces of trying to help people, this is where sometimes we'll get into it and we'll be in wars with people because it's just like, dude, I hate the fat activists. I hate them. I really hate body positivity. I hate that whole entire movement. I hate the way they've co-opted it from the people it was meant for. I hate the way that they've changed all this messaging now so that way it's super detrimental to people. And, it's like we all have our different focuses, but I think that's like necessary. I think we need to have different focuses if we ever want to kind of fix things. And I'm not going to lie, but I do think that I come from a less fat country. I was born and raised in this less fat country, and I have less fat ideals, no offense, than Americans. So,
I'm taking that shot to Wes.
right? So in that case, you know what I mean? I might know a thing or two. No, but like for real, I really appreciated all of the ladies. It's very beautiful scenery today. You know, no offense to the guys again. You know,
No, it was it was a conversation they had. You know, you already know it wasn't about the whole gender. Mandrill, appreciate him because he was one of the guys because this is literally down his alley and lane with the conversation 100%. So you're good, man. Trust me, I understand when people can't reply. I take it as, you know, life. You know, life happens, something happens. I don't judge nobody, beat nobody up with nobody. Just life happened. Again, same thing like last week. Last minute on me, had a great topic, brought it up like, hey, this is what we're going to talk about. Went, just said, you know what, let me just invite the people. I thought about Cynthia because I was trying to get her on. I didn't really want to do an interview because I felt like that whole 90-Day Fiance thing was a little bit more personal with that situation because there's a lot going on with her, and I was a fan of the show. And I just asked, like, hey, what you be comfortable with the conversation? Again, learning from my experience because I had Betty on one time. I had Peace Love one time on. And you know, they felt some kind of way just by when we talk about systemic racism, and they was okay with the conversation, but they didn't want to be too open because again, they have careers. Some people just can't be openly sharing like that. And we had a whole talk behind about it. So I get it, it's life. So you have to be very picky who you have on the panels with the conversation, and you got to be very like open, like, hey, this is what we're going to talk about, give you a heads up. So that was a little bit on me. So it worked out. I'm glad it did, especially for Cynthia, definitely for Miss Martha. I gotta learn Spanish just cause. But I love the language. Erica's, you know, she's been a mentor of mine in the past. A lot of stuff that she says, I kind of just echo it somewhere else to other people because I see some things. And as I'm seeing now, like little brainy like Ruby. A lot, a lot. She knows a lot. So when a lot of people are like, oh, they look attractive and hot. Trust me, there's a brain behind that. There's a brain behind that. Don't get it twisted. Just because you see a hot body, that will F you up real quick. Don't do it.
Exactly.
Don't. So I'll leave it like this. So yeah, I'm just glad everybody came through. I take this like high honors for everybody doing their job. Marcus, Wes, everybody coming on through, and just like I said, just keep networking and see where it goes from there. So I appreciate y'all guys. Thank y'all for coming out. Catch y'all later on the flip side. May do something in the morning. Who knows? I love me. Catch y'all later. Peace.
Cheers, y'all.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.